It's time to get things started.
On the most sensational, inspirational, celebrational, Keelerational. This is what we call the Keeler Show.
Celebrating 100 years. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
Well, good morning, and it is 9th day of September and Tuesday. And in studio is the legend, the amazing Mayor Butler.
Oh, I thought you were announcing Stefan.
Mayor Butler. Mayor Mark Butler is in as our guest host here this morning. Good morning.
Well, good morning, William.
And I have to say, I do greatly appreciate the fact that you have covered diligently for us here. I know at your age, getting up this early is, especially because you're up all night, up and down. That's what I do.
I'll be in bed at about 7 o'clock tonight.
Okay, that's all right.
It's,
How about that? Did you see any of the NFL Monday Night Football? That was another blockbuster come from behind victory.
Nothing that matches what the Bills did Sunday night.
That Sunday night game
15 points down with 4 minutes left.
There's a story out there, if I can find it, about a professional bettor, a professional gambler. Davey, you familiar with this story? He was out and was online, and he bet. What is it? I gotta find what it is. The amount that he bet. I had this story a little while ago. I was reading it, and of course, it's not here right now. So he had announced that he had bet big on Baltimore. And in the third quarter, he started going online and bragging about it. In fact, the site that he used to make the bet, he offered them a $1,000 discount if they would just cash out right away. So they'll do like the early cash out, and with these apps. And okay, here it is. Sunday night, professional sports gambler learned a valuable lesson in humility as his gloating turned to heartbreak. In less than 2 hours, going in, he bet $200,000 on the Ravens on the money line to win. It would have paid. It would have paid $100 because they were favored. It would have paid $188,000. So going into Sunday night, the Ravens were 1.5 point favorites over the Bills. Sean Perry is a gambler who's not all that shy about telling everybody what he bet, $200,000. In the third quarter, he did a victory lap on X, offering the sports book where he placed the bet a $1,000 discount for an early payout because the score was 27-13 Ravens. Perry proudly proclaimed the game is already over. Then came a 22-6 fourth quarter run that saw the Bills come back. And as Mayor Butler says, take the win 41-40. And then somebody else, the betting service, came out with their own Instagram showing the Bills winning field goal and Perry in a Ravens jersey holding his head in his hands while a couple of people poured beer on him. There you go.
I saw one video on the internet of a Dolphin fan watching the game when the kicker was going to kick the field goal at the end. And he says, no, miss it. Boom, it goes through, and he puts his head back and says, I hate football.
Well, how about the kicker is such an old guy.
Old people can provide some services.
They apparently can.
And then you're aware of that.
And then last night was another big. David, did you watch? Were you here for last night, or how did you? Because we had the game last night. Actually, we have every game that's late, forcing Davey to have to monitor, and like Sunday, Monday. Do we do any college games on Saturday?
Yes.
Yeah, so Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Thursday,
I'm
done Friday.
After this week.
That's it.
Working.
He's like, Davey's done.
Does he get overtime for that,
last night, what was there was another blockbuster last night.
Yeah, the Vikings came back on the Chicago Bears, 27-26.
The big fourth quarter. Yeah. Nothing is safe. Nothing is safe.
Well, there's a lesson there.
President Trump is saying, I'm not an artist, although there are pictures of that he's drawn. And maybe he said, I'll draw a little picture maybe with 2 lines and a triangle over the top to look like a house and then give it to charity. And so, but when you look at the drawings, they're actually pretty good. He said, but for sure, I would never draw a woman. We are talking about the card and the message sent to Epstein. The president said didn't exist, and now is saying it wasn't him. The problem is it's kind of an abstract picture of a woman with just like 2 lines for the torso and the hips, and then 2 little marks for breasts, and then the comments about our little secret. And President Trump is saying, I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I didn't do it.
I believe him.
I know you do. And so does everybody else. Well, I mean, if you're a MAGA supporter. Well, the problem is there's more evidence coming out. You want to be careful because the crime usually is in the cover-up more than anything else. And he's been saying this is a Democratic hoax. However, Republicans are calling for this to be all of the details to be out. And you got to think that Bill Clinton is going to be in there. You just got to know he's going to be there. Uh-huh. But for somebody to say Trump is not that kind of guy, I find that also hard to believe. Better be careful. He'll grab you by the blank. I find it hard to believe. That's all I'm saying.
You're a professional skeptic.
It is very much like if Clinton were to say, I would never do something like that. Right.
Unless it's on tape.
That's right. And of course, Clinton with the he didn't do Monica. He didn't have I did not have sex with that woman.
No.
But of course he did. Okay, we'll talk to Ryan Schmelz. Vance issues midterm warning, says Democrats' anger could drive 2026 turnout, and it could be a big turnout for Republicans. We'll speak with Ryan about that. And hard to believe we are on it's the 24th year of the 24th anniversary of 9/11.
9/11.
And I saw we're working on bringing on a reporter from the Daily News who was a good friend of the fire department.
Yeah.
And was there, and actually when the building came down, when the first tower came down, he said, I mean, this just gives you an idea. I mean, we've all seen the pictures, and he said it just was awful. Body parts were coming down after the plane went in. He just said the ground was littered with body parts, human body parts. And but then he said, I started to hear a rumble, and I looked up, and he said, I just knew I needed to run. And as he was running away, the first tower was coming down, and he said it lifted him. It was like a tornado, because all of that pressure coming down, it literally lifted him off the ground and threw him, feet away into underneath a vehicle where he was pinned and trapped, and it was firefighters that got him out. But what a now we might have him on Thursday. Is 9/11, Davey? Today's the night. We might have him, but this is a guy who still today suffers from PTSD from what he went through, and all the people he was close to in that fire department. Really, he was a photojournalist with the Daily News.
Bill, I went down with a legislative group a few days after 9/11, and there was just an aura there, like Gettysburg. I experienced the same thing, but it was tragic. But the thing that struck me, soldiers with machine guns at the ready, boats patrolling up and down the river, it was chilling.
They could not get an ambulance to him. He was taken by the fire department to the I guess it would be the Hudson, where a boat picked him. It was picking up victims and those who needed treatment, and then going to a New Jersey hospital. That's how he ended up in the hospital. It was just terrible. And here we are, year 24.
Well,
since 9/11,
and I fear we've over that period of time, have kind of forgotten what that meant and what it was.
Yeah.
And we've become a complacent society once again, I believe.
Well, if you remember, it was only a few days that we were all one, right? Republicans and Democrats.
Americans, flags off,
it was
antennas.
2 or 3 days, and then all of a sudden we were back to being argumentative and arguing two sides, which is, really the way our government has been set up. But I think we've taken it to a new level here in 2025.
I have to agree. I wish you liberals would just calm down a little bit.
Okay. I'll just leave that alone. Okay, Davey, I want to go back to sports just a little bit. Guess what happened after, and I really worry about this. I worry about the Ravens, the Bills playing the Ravens again. That Derrick Henry is like from another world.
Yes.
I mean,
he is something else.
I don't think he had a run other than that fumble that was under like 8 or 9 yards. He's like from another world. Davey, did you see the bettors have now changed their they've changed their tune a little bit on who's going to win the Super Bowl?
No, I haven't seen that.
The odds have changed. If you wanted to put a $100 bet down to say the Bills are going to win the Super Bowl, it would pay $475. So the Bills are plus 475. The Ravens are now plus 600. The Ravens and Bills were dead even at the top. That was the pick.
So let me get this straight. The Ravens lost, and now they're a favorite?
No.
Oh.
Well, it may be a favorite of a bettor.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Because they're the odds are lower, plus 600 versus plus 475.
Okay.
Follow me.
I got it now.
All right. Before news, I'm going to take Ryan. I can do that if you want. Ladies and gentlemen, Ryan Schmelz from Fox News Radio. Vice President Vance is issuing a warning to Democrats and to the rest of America. And Ryan is on the line now. Good morning, Ryan Schmelz.
Hey, good morning. How are you? I got some more analysis from the game.
Okay.
On,
all right.
Sunday. So after I've read like every single article going back about this, here's probably the one thing I noticed is Sean McDermott's defense made the plays when they needed to at the end of the game.
Yeah.
The Ravens ones flat out didn't. And keep in mind, John Harbaugh was a secondary coach for most of his coaching career, and that was the thing that killed the Ravens. So that's
I got to tell you, it is amazing how I don't know. You got to perceive it the way you perceive it, but it almost seemed as if the Bills' defense went in extremely timid. It's a young defense,
right?
And they went in without any confidence, and then all of a sudden, after that fumble, all of a sudden everything changed. And you're right, that defense made the plays when it mattered, and the other part is Josh Allen kept them within reach.
You can talk about.
They just didn't look gassed either.
Right, and I wonder that too. I wonder if there was a conditioning issue going on. I mean, it's your first game of the season, and certainly in the first half, the Bills went 3 and out a couple times.
Yeah.
And the Bills' defense had to be tired.
Yeah.
But things were beginning to change in the second half. So.
Well, if you watch that show, Hard Knocks, the Bills were very well conditioned. Yes.
Ryan, I would ask you, have you had a conversation with Ryan Nobles as of yet on this?
What, the game?
Yeah.
No, I'm not. I'm not.
Listen, you can, if he comes at you with the Bills, you can just go at him with the Mets. So. Here we are in a pennant.
I mean, look, neither one of us can really talk any trash yet because, it's like, oh, cool, like you beat us this time, we beat you one time, you beat us twice in a row. But it's like, okay, well, neither one of us has beaten the Chiefs yet, so like I don't think any team can really talk trash until one of us proves that we can go to that next level.
I also find it very interesting that everybody's downplaying. All the pundits are downplaying the Chiefs. A little too early to do that.
Too early, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, we have 1 minute, Ryan, I'm told. Vice President Vance issuing warnings to Democrats. How about this warning? Don't brag about winning a football bet worth $200,000 until the game is over. The Vikings last night. How about that story?
Yeah, exactly. Well, and I think and Vance also issued the warning to Republicans too, where he pretty much said that, look, I mean, we can be happy with what we've accomplished, but if their base is energized and we're not, and we're complacent, then we're going to lose control of Congress. So I think Vance has probably put that warning sign out there saying, hey, let's be ready for the worst and hope to expect the best.
Yeah. Ryan, I'm going to nail you perfectly on time and get you out. You have a great day. Thank you so much.
You too, buddy. Thank you, sir.
Thanks so much. Ryan Schmelz with Fox News Radio. You know that, deep down, all we want to do is talk about that Bills game.
That's
and
it.
For him, the Ravens. So
that's the most important thing. But I will say I found the game with the Chiefs very satisfying as well.
I did too, as well.
They
yes.
took a punch on the chin.
Let's keep that going.
Yeah.
I would not have any problem with a major decline there. Mike, this morning, while Trump says he can't draw, according to the court, he drew E. Carroll into a dressing room. Bottom. And Donna this morning, Clinton, Hunter, Trump, Cuomo, Prince Andrew, none of them would shock me, Donna, being on that list or with evidence coming from Epstein.
If that's released, that's what you call mutually assured destruction.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. All right, hold tight. We have news coming right up here at WIBX.
Here's the latest from the WIBX newsroom. I'm Doug Callan. Federal prosecutors holding a news conference today following an immigration and customs enforcement raid in Cayuga County. Law enforcement took dozens of people into custody at the Nutrition Bar Confectioners facility in Cato last Thursday. Federal officials are planning to warn businesses today about the risk of criminal investigation if they employ people who aren't authorized to work in the United States. Former President Joe Biden has selected the spot for the presidential library, and it is not going to be Syracuse. Biden, who graduated from Syracuse University, their College of Law in 1968, had considered setting up his library in the city of Syracuse. Instead, the library is being constructed in Delaware. Utica police are investigating an incident at Valley View Golf Course where significant damage was caused to the course by what police feel was caused by two teenagers on an ATV and dirt bike. A photo of the two, one on a four-wheeler and one on a dirt bike, was released by Utica police. Contact UPD or Crime Stoppers with tips and information. Police say the incident occurred on Saturday. New York State Police in Oneida are asking for the public's help in identifying the owner of the chainsaw that had been left behind, apparently by mistake. According to Trippers, the police in Oneida are attempting to locate the owner of a Husqvarna 445E2 chainsaw that was found last week on Route 5 in the town of Lenox. Full story is available on our website. A female corrections officer at Marcy Correctional Facility hospitalized after being attacked by an inmate, according to New York State Police. Union officials said the officer was sitting at a desk inside one of the dorms on Thursday of last week when a 31-year-old inmate came up behind her and grabbed her by the shoulder. Authorities said the inmate forced the officer over backwards from the chair and landed on top of her on the floor. Once on the floor, authorities said the inmate headbutted the woman in the forehead, licked her nose, and attempted to sexually grope her. Authorities said the officer fought back. The corrections officer was treated at Wynn Hospital. The inmate remains unnamed, faces several charges. And that's the latest. I'm Doug Callan for WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Absolutely beautiful weather expected now over the next several days. Fall-like, some spots are cooler valley locations, and into the Adirondacks this morning, frosted advisories. Sunshine later, 75 for us today. Tonight, mainly clear in the 40s again. In the Adirondacks, we may sneak into the 30s. Sun back 77 tomorrow, Thursday and Friday, mostly sunny. Get outside and enjoy it, mid-upper 70s. I'm meteorologist Ray Stidgick at the Weather Channel on WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Well, we have I got to tell you, coming in this morning, I got very, very nervous because, Davey, you left the elderly gentleman, Mr. Butler, out in the cold this morning. No, I didn't. You did.
I got the sniffles.
He was sitting out there and waiting
20 minutes I was out
20 minutes out there.
I don't know what you were doing.
He was shivering. I got a blanket out of my car and a green tarp, and I put it over top of him, and we warmed him up, Davey.
Listen.
Yeah.
I thought I heard the doorbell earlier when I was here.
You did.
I sent Stefan out to see if there was anybody there. Mark wasn't out there.
Stefan went to the front door.
Well, you think
he's on the side door, for God's sake?
That doorbell just rang itself, Davey? Come on. Is the place haunted?
It is chilly, as you said to me walking in this morning, Mr. Butler. It's nice sleeping weather.
Beautiful.
42 degrees.
Yes.
That'll keep you covered up and sleeping in the morning.
And I like the fact that we don't have that humidity during the day. That kind of.
Although we have. Did you see the forecast? Like next 2 weeks, sunshine and mid to upper 70s. This weekend, 78 degrees both days. I'll take it. A beautiful September is in the making here right now. I hope
it's good weather
continues.
For the Mets to finish out their season.
Yes. Another disappointment. Another turn to football. All right, hold tight. We'll come right back. Tanya Power's coming up in a second at WIBX.
Gotcha.
Hi, folks. This is Rob Hilton. Your family is your greatest treasure. Is your estate plan ready to protect them when it matters most? At Hilton Estate and Elder Law, we understand the importance of getting it right. That's why we offer a free review of your current plan. Together, we'll assess it and provide honest feedback to ensure it truly works. No cost, no obligation, just confidence and peace of mind. Let's prepare for the future together. Schedule a free review today.
Hilton, you know the name, they know the law.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're a different kind of wireless company dedicated to serving people 50 and up, like me. Because let's face it, our needs are different. Big wireless unlimited plans are designed for 20-somethings, not us. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on one thing, bringing you affordable, reliable rate plans that suit your needs, not ours. How do we do that? We start by using the same towers as the big guys, the exact same towers. We then create rate plans designed for your usage. The fact is, we can offer you an unlimited plan with the same network quality for less because we understand how you use wireless services. Our plans start at just $20 a month. And forget trying to chat with robots. You'll get 100% US-based award-winning customer service when you need help. Come find out how wireless should be and join the millions who've made the switch.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Jim Boeheim is going to be in our next Real Men Get Tested commercial.
Wow. You know he's a cancer survivor.
He's all in.
I'm not appearing in your commercial for Real Men Get Tested.
It sounds like you two are bonding.
Yeah, especially after I gave him coaching advice.
We're not bonding. You know nothing about basketball.
I think there's a job offer coming.
I'll bet you sit next to McNamara.
Don't be stupid. Real men get tested for cancer. I'm living proof that early detection can save your life.
Hi, I'm Lisa, owner of Fit Body Boot Camp in Clinton and Whitesboro. I couldn't be prouder of our amazing members. Take a listen.
My name is Juliana Carone, and I'm from New Hartford, New York. Clinton Fit Body Boot Camp actually found me. When I walked through the doors, I was concerned that I wouldn't be able to keep up because I am 68 years old. I was scared to death, but everybody was smiling, everybody was having a great time, and everybody just came out of the woodwork and greeted me. I have been there since March of 2024. Physically, I've lost 20 pounds. I've lost about 10 inches overall. I have a husband at home who has some health issues, and so I needed to be healthy to take care of him. It's given me more patience with him most of the time. And I sleep better at night. I can't say enough about Clinton Fit Body Boot Camp.
If you're waiting for a sign, this is it. The time is now to live your best life at Fit Body Boot Camp.
This is Keeler in the Morning. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
All right, I have an interesting story here that, they say that what happened, there was a story a while back about these kids they found these little snakes. And some kids, afraid of snakes, Some kids are, let's pick them up. Let's pick up a frog. Let's pick up, any animal they find. They want to pick it up and hold on to it. So these children picked up these little snakes. They were baby snakes. And they kept getting bitten. And the kids died because, I don't know if this is true or not, to be honest, but I'm pretty sure it is. It was a news story. And that a baby rattlesnake's bite is as potent and venomous as an adult rattlesnake.
Wow.
But they're little pricks. They don't look like they're a big bite like a large rattlesnake would give. Anyway, the reason I'm giving you this story is a 4-year-old boy in North Carolina was sent to the hospital after he was bitten by a copperhead. And I wonder, we're getting more. There are rattlesnakes native to New York State and to upstate New York. But it does seem that with the warmer weather, we're getting the opportunity for more warmer winters, although last winter was horrible. You know what I mean? It feels like we're seeing bugs that we've never seen before.
Bees?
That we've never seen before. Anyway, in North Carolina, where it would be a little more predominant, the 4-year-old boy sent to the hospital, bitten at a daycare as he was playing near a sandbox. There was a copperhead snake. Sounds like the boy's going to be okay. Here's the boy's aunt, Brooke Cooper, talking about what went down, what actually happened at the daycare of all places.
The director got up and said he got snake bit. My first thought was, why didn't they call 911? My second thing was, like, does the parents even know about the other parents?
Okay. Well, that happened in North Carolina, if you're keeping track. How about the story out at Marcy Correctional with the corrections officer being attacked by the male inmate, and she was just sitting at a desk, and the inmate allegedly jumped on top of her, knocked the chair over, began sexually groping the woman. She, you got to give her some credit here. She was able to knee him in the groinal region and kicked him off her, and then help came. She had to be treated at Wynn Hospital. He has been charged and is ultimately probably going to spend a lot more time sitting in jail. Terrible, right? And then you see that story, which was I forget exactly. It may have been North Carolina also, wherever that's the story where the woman got onto the train and sat down, young woman, and behind her was a guy. The guy got up and started stabbing her from behind, and she was killed from that. And it kind of makes me wonder when you look at subways, like in New York City. You always wonder, why are the seats from the sideways in versus looking straight forward like you would on a bus? And I guess that offers you the opportunity to be able to look around and see what's around you, and there's no one behind you. Can you imagine we have to think about that?
You really set out to cheer us up this
morning. I did.
I have.
You know, I'm going to the lowest of low.
Yes.
When I talk about the horrible dog that was an amputee. 3-legged dog in Arizona ended up in a shelter after surviving a gunshot wound, but now he's got a forever home. A guy named Zach Monticello lost his right arm in a UTV and thought it would be neat if he had a dog that also lost a leg.
Makes sense.
Kind of makes sense. And here's audio. Yes, we're digging very deep to the amputee dog story. Here we go. This is the audio.
That's going to pull in the ratings.
My wife and I just want to provide her a happy home for the rest of her life, and she's really fitting in real good. She's just the most loving and sweetest and respectful dog, to be honest, that I've ever encountered. Obviously, as you can see, she is a front leg amputee, and I'm an upper extremity amputee. On the 1-year anniversary of my accident, I saw a video you guys shot with her hopping down a hallway, so I was up there, I think, a day or two later. And she came home. It's helped me out a lot. And I hope that in return I'm helping her too.
That's really actually a really nice story.
It is a nice story. That is great stuff.
And today, Davey, this is big for you because you are the fan. Today is National Teddy Bear Day. Don't you wanna be my teddy bear? Isn't that one of your favorite Elvis songs? I always thought that was your favorite Elvis Presley song.
Yeah, but I'm not a teddy bear fan.
Okay. But the song is Teddy Bear.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, boy. You just can't stay with me today, I'm telling you. Maybe I'm all over the place. It's possible. Tootsie Pops. Remember the nostalgia commercial? How many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Roll Tootsie Pop?
Mr. Owl, a one.
A two. Yes. How many does it take? After 55 years, they have now remade the classic commercial with fresh animation and voice tracks. I wonder if it's going to get the same criticism Cracker Barrel got. Like, how could you? What happened to the old owl? I mean, that old owl was all part of that commercial.
Yeah.
How could you change it? What is going on here? Here's audio.
Mr. Turtle, how many licks does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop?
I never made it without biting. Ask Mr. Owl.
Mr. Owl, how many licks does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop?
Let's find out. 1, 2, 3.
How many licks does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop? The world may never know.
I don't know. Is that the? I think that may be the nostalgic version. That might be the old version. The creative team said, being entrusted with such a beloved piece of culture, we wanted to respect its heritage while modernizing it for the next generation. So I guess that was the newer version, but, you know, they don't want to put up with the crap that Cracker Barrel had to put up with. God forbid. Here is the original one. This is the
Mr. Cow.
Yes?
How many licks does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop?
I don't know. I always end up biting. Ask Mr. Fox, for he's much cleverer than I.
Mr. Fox, how many licks does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop?
Why don't you ask Mr. Turtle, for he's been around a lot longer than I. Me, I bite.
Mr. Turtle, how many licks does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop?
I never made it without biting. Ask Mr. Owl, for he is the wisest of us all.
I gotta say they did stick to the original voices pretty well for the most part. That was the original.
AI, no doubt.
Maybe it's AI. That may very well be what's going on there. 6:52 on the line right now. It's the 25th anniversary of 9/11 this week. Hard to believe. Or 24th. I'm not reading correctly. Here in 2025, the 24th anniversary. And Tanya J. Powers on the line right now from Fox News Radio. You know, we recently took another trip through the memorial, Tanya, and it is just, I don't know how to describe it. It's heart-wrenching. It's quiet. It is eerie. It's respectful. I guess that's how I describe it.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you go down to Lower Manhattan and you walk over there to the Memorial and Museum area, it is the thing that always gets me is the sound of the water. Because you know the pools, the way that it's set up in the footprints of the towers, that's what you hear. You hear the rush of water, and on 9/11 itself, when you go down there, the plaza there is reserved for the families on the morning of 9/11. The public doesn't get to come in until after like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. They give the families and their survivors and all day there by themselves, you know, with nobody else around. During that ceremony where they ring the bells, it is eerily quiet, and sound of rushing water is the thing that's just, it fills your ears.
Yeah.
And then you have the bell and the names, and it is just one of the most moving things I've ever experienced. For people who were not around then, who were either not
really
alive,
amazing, right? When you think about it.
I was talking to the president and CEO of the 9/11 Memorial and Museum, Beth Hillman, last week. I wanted to talk to her about how to teach this because, you know, you have a lot of people. And she said, she blew my mind with this. She said there are 100 million Americans who do not remember 9/11, who were either too small, they weren't born yet. You know, I mean, they don't have that actual memory of the day. That's a lot of people. And so the one thing I wanted to know from her is how is the museum and memorial, how are they teaching, you know, how are they helping teachers and educators and parents who homeschool for that matter, how to teach 9/11. And they have a ton of resources on their website. If you go to 911memorial.org and click on the Learn tab at the very top, you will see something about the digital learning experience. They have a ton of resources, but one of the things they do have each year is the anniversary film. They do a new 30-minute film every year. It's available on demand as well, but it highlights the first-person accounts of what happened.
Yeah.
There are, people who were first responders or survivors or whatever. You can actually register for this if you're a teacher, educator. There's also, and it's done on Thursday, on the anniversary. There's also a live chat that, you can take part in with museum staff and other people who, are central to that day to talk with them about this. And if that's not something that your classroom is ready to do or you want to sign up for, the other resources they have there, you can actually go down through there and click which age you're teaching it to, and it will bring up age-appropriate ways to teach it. Yeah, because you wouldn't teach a 7-year-old the same thing you're going to teach a 15-year-old.
Well, and I got to tell you, that was one of the things we're working on a photojournalist from the Daily News who was thought of as being the fire department's photographer. He really covered the New York Fire Department. And was there and was actually blown away as the building was coming down. He was blown many feet away and was knocked unconscious and trapped underneath a vehicle. And says that he has PTSD from that and really still struggles with it today after 24 years. But I almost feel like, Tanya, we all have a little of that. Here we are 4 hours away. I remember exactly what I was doing. We were on the radio. We didn't think it was real or important in the beginning, and then all of a sudden we realized very quickly how significant this moment was. And then the fears of what's next. I feel like we all have our own version. Certainly nothing compares to what the first responders went through. But we do all have our own version of PTSD from 9/11 if we live through it. I feel.
Yeah, the questions that, young people have, and that's one of the things that Dr. Hillman was actually telling me was that the thing that they hear, especially from Generation Alpha, who were born between 2010 and now, those are the kids who are, I guess at this point, we're kind of in middle school, maybe early high school. That she said that they're hungry for information. They ask a lot of questions about what this was like, what it was like to be there, what it was like to experience it, what was it like to hear about it. They want to know about this stuff. Yeah. It's not something that, is disinteresting to them because they weren't alive for it. They want to know. So that's why they're offering a lot of these resources, which, by the way, they also have sign language things that, you can access for resources. They have audio only. They have videos. They have, different languages. They've covered it. They want to make sure that they've gotten the word out to as many people as they can.
Yeah. I do think that one of the most amazing things, attractions, you can't call it an attraction, one of the displays that I think is really, really touching, and how much work went into this. Every single person, there's a room where they put up a picture of the person and their families talk about who they were and what they were like, and a personal attachment to each and every person. And there are family members that will go in and sit for hours waiting for their family member to come up. That is just, how much work went into that, but how really amazing and touching that is.
It is. They've also been collecting the stories of just regular, everyday folks, just like you and me, for years, about where they were and what their experience of 9/11 was. You can go in and record your own experience in this little booth they have there at the museum. They are doing a massive job. They are the folks when there is a tragedy somewhere. And they're ready to, build a memorial or a museum or whatever. These are the people they talk to. Like these folks went to Oklahoma City to talk to them when they started building this one. It is an expertise that I guess nobody wants to have. Yeah. But these are the people they ask.
Just incredibly shocking, the whole thing, and the fact that we're at 24 years. Got a break, Tanya. We appreciate the time. Thank you so much, and have a great day. Thanks. Tanya J. Powers from Fox News Radio. I'll give you on the other side of news, which, by the way, is coming up next on WIBX.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX Utica, Rome. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, celebrating 100 years.
A new federal illegal immigration crackdown in another city. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. It's being launched in Chicago and across Illinois, called Operation Midway Blitz, which the Department of Homeland Security says is in honor of Katie Abraham, a woman killed in January in a drunk driving hit-and-run crash blamed on a man here illegally who's now charged. Acting ICE Director Todd Lyons just told Fox.
We're out there going getting these criminal illegal aliens that the state and local officials don't want to deal with, or they don't have the heart to deal with. We have to take these threats out of the streets, so young people like Katie will be around to have a great and wonderful life.
Both Illinois' governor and Chicago's mayor, who are Democrats, have spoken out against increased immigration enforcement as unwanted and unnecessary. The mayor of Los Angeles, Karen Bass, is calling a Supreme Court ruling allowing ICE to resume an immigration crackdown in Southern California dangerous and un-American.
A federal judge had blocked the raids in July, siding with advocacy groups that argued officials were stopping suspected illegal immigrants without a valid reason. But Justice Brett Kavanaugh, one of the 6 who sided with the Trump administration, argues that ICE's tactics were fair, writing in his concurrence, quote, under this court's precedents, not to mention common sense, those circumstances taken together can constitute at least reasonable suspicion of illegal presence in the United States.
That's Fox's Todd Pyro. Israel has ordered a new evacuation in Gaza as it ramps up the war against Hamas.
Previous warnings were for people in areas where there were about to be concentrated operations or airstrikes. This is for all of Gaza City, seen by Israel as the last Hamas stronghold. Dozens of high-rise buildings have already been destroyed, alleged to be used by Hamas for military infrastructure and surveillance. Civilians living in them are now out on the streets. The United Nations says a lot of families can't afford to leave and go south, and refugee sites are overcrowded for those who do.
Fox's Chris Foster. In Russia's war in Ukraine, another deadly attack. A bombing in the village in the east killed at least 21 Ukrainians. America's listening to Fox News.
Your home equity could vanish almost overnight, stolen by scammers who forge a deed and transfer it out of your name. The FBI calls it house stealing, and the worst part is you may not know it until it's too late. Find out if you're already a victim now at HomeTitleLock.com. Use promo code RADIO for a 30-day free trial, a title scan, and access to a title specialist, a $250 value. Go to HomeTitleLock.com now. Promo code RADIO.
You ever wonder why Verizon charges twice as much as Pure Talk for the same basic service? Think it might have something to do with the fact that Verizon spends $12 billion a year on advertising and promotion? That's billion with a B? Yeah. Pure Talk doesn't spend that kind of money on commercials. That's why they can offer unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data on a blazing fast 5G network for just $25 a month. Save an additional 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say the words micro. That's pound 250, micro.
It is day 2 for jury selection in a federal court in Florida to put Ryan Ruth on trial for the second Trump assassination attempt last year. He was arrested with a rifle outside a country club in West Palm Beach while the president, then a candidate, was playing golf.
Prosecutors and the defendant, Ryan Ruth, who is representing himself, will be back in court to further narrow down the jury pool in his trial. He's charged federally with attempting to assassinate a presidential candidate and other counts. Ruth introduced himself Monday to a first set of potential jurors by apologizing for being the reason they are there. U.S. District Judge Aileen Cannon set aside 3 days for the process to select 12 jurors and 4 alternates. Ruth's trial could begin Thursday with opening statements. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
Another settlement for another Catholic Church archdiocese, this time in New Orleans, agreeing to pay $230 million to settle more than 500 claims of pre-sexual abuse. On Wall Street, stock futures mixed. The morning after the NASDAQ closed at a record high, gaining 98 points. The Dow rose 114. On Monday Night Football, a Minnesota comeback in Chicago.
Vikings quarterback J.J. McCarthy wasn't having a dream start to his NFL career, but then he flipped the script. McCarthy accounted for 3 touchdowns, 2 passing, 1 rushing, all in the fourth quarter, and the Vikings rallied for a 27-24 win over the Bears.
Thielen in motion.
McCarthy keeps. He's got it. And forces his way into the end zone. Touchdown.
That was courtesy of ESPN as McCarthy won in his first start after missing his entire rookie season due to a knee injury. For the Bears, the offense went cold after scoring a touchdown on their opening drive, failing to get back into the end zone until right before the 2-minute warning. Joe Morgan, Fox News.
And that closes out week 1 of the NFL season. I'm Dave Anthony. This is Fox News.
Here's the latest from the WIBX newsroom. I'm Doug Callan. Federal prosecutors holding a news conference today following an immigration and customs enforcement raid in Cayuga County. Law enforcement took dozens of people into custody at the Nutrition Bar Confectioners facility in Cato last Thursday. Federal officials are planning to warn businesses today about the risk of criminal investigation if they employ people who aren't authorized to work in the United States. Former President Joe Biden has selected the spot for the presidential library, and it is not going to be Syracuse. Biden, who graduated from Syracuse University, their College of Law in 1968, had considered setting up his library in the city of Syracuse. Instead, the library is being constructed in Delaware. Utica police are investigating an incident at Valley View Golf Course where significant damage was caused to the course by what police feel was caused by 2 teenagers on an ATV and dirt bike. A photo of the 2, one on a 4-wheeler and one on a dirt bike, was released by Utica police. Contact UPD or Crime Stoppers with tips and information. Police say the incident occurred on Saturday. New York State Police in Oneida are asking for the public's help in identifying the owner of the chainsaw that had been left behind, apparently by mistake. According to troopers, the police in Oneida are attempting to locate the owner of a Husqvarna 445E2 chainsaw that was found last week on Route 5 in the town of Lenox. Full story is available on our website. A female corrections officer at Marcy Correctional Facility hospitalized after being attacked by an inmate, according to New York State Police. Union officials said the officer was sitting at a desk inside one of the dorms on Thursday of last week when a 31-year-old inmate came up behind her and grabbed her by the shoulder. Authorities said the inmate forced the officer over backwards from the chair and landed on top of her on the floor. Once on the floor, authorities said the inmate headbutted the woman in the forehead, licked her nose, and attempted to sexually grope her. Authorities said the officer fought back. The corrections officer was treated at Wynn Hospital. The inmate remains unnamed, faces several charges. The Boonville Police Department reported a disturbance at the historic Hulbert House apartments on Main Street back on August 30th. Police say a guest allegedly damaged property belonging to another guest and the owner, with damage totaling over $250. The tenant was arrested. 27-year-old Terry L. Fendler of Boonville was charged with 1 count of criminal mischief, a felony, received an appearance ticket for a future court date in the town of Boonville. Utica police say a stolen vehicle was used at an early morning business break-in. Monday, UPD is asking for the public's help in identifying the culprit. Police say on Monday they found a broken window and other evidence of a break-in on South Street at about 6:30 a.m. The officers approached the suspicious vehicle, parked a short distance away, and police say the driver pulled out and sped away at a high speed. Later, at around 10 a.m., police said they took a report of a stolen vehicle from the 800 block of John Street that matched the vehicle that sped off from the scene. Anyone with information can call UPD, or anonymous tips can be made at MohawkValleyCrimeStoppers.com. And one of the most popular comedians on the planet is bringing his current tour to Syracuse. Ventriloquist Jeff Dunham is set to take the stage at the Upstate Medical Arena at the On Center War Memorial on Wednesday, January 14th. Seats for the performance go on sale next week. In sports, another blockbuster fourth quarter in primetime NFL. The Minnesota Vikings scored 3 fourth-quarter touchdowns to come from behind to beat the Chicago Bears 27-24. The game was heard live here on WIBX. A Buffalo Bills fan is facing a ban from the league after hitting a Baltimore Ravens player during Sunday Night Football. ESPN reports the fan has been banned indefinitely from the Bills and NFL stadiums. The Mets shut out by the Phillies 1-0 in their series opener from Philadelphia. Nolan McLean suffered the loss after allowing 1 run on 7 hits and 3 walks. New York is third in the NL wild card and will continue its 4-game set tonight. The Yankees are back in action tonight. New York is hosting Detroit. And that's the latest. I'm Doug Callan for WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Absolutely beautiful weather expected now over the next several days. Fall-like, some spots are cooler valley locations, and into the Adirondacks this morning, frosted advisories. Sunshine later, 75 for us today. Tonight, mainly clear in the 40s again. In the Adirondacks, we may sneak into the 30s. Sun back 77 tomorrow, Thursday and Friday, mostly sunny. Get outside and enjoy it, mid-upper 70s. I'm meteorologist Ray Stidge. You got the Weather Channel on WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Well, right now we have sunshine, Mark Butler, and we're at 43 degrees, a definite chilly start to the day. Let's see. Oh, here we go. This is a comment from Mike. 9/11 is one of those moments where you will always remember where you were when it happened. I heard Mark was at the Newport Senior Center playing bingo at that moment. Is it true?
Well, as I told Bill, I remember when they sunk the battleship Maine. That was in my office. Yeah.
Boy. 7-11. Hold tight. We'll come back here. We'll speak with Dr. Kent Hall. This issue of should you or shouldn't you get the COVID shot. Now you have states that are breaking away from the CDC. We are in just such a mess. I'm not sure how we recover from all this crap. But we'll see. We'll see. I mean, you have to be optimistic. We'll speak with Dr. Hall coming up in a second. Also, later in the hour, Elizabeth Snyder Fortino. Betsy is she goes by Betsy. She's running for New York State Supreme Court in the 5th Judicial District. We'll speak with her a little later on. And Davey's saying, what do you say? 185. 185 is Hobica's free money question of the day, worth $185, and we'll do that coming up at an interesting number. Who would have thought? 185. We'll do that coming up 7:35 here on WIBX.
Utica in the Mohawk Valley. It's not over yet, but hurry. The Labor Day sale at Mattress Express is still on with New York State's largest selection of mattresses. Save up to $1,350 on names like Tempur-Pedic, Stearns & Foster, Sealy, Purple, Puffy, the Smart Bed by Instant Comfort, Posh & Lavish, Therapeutic, Simmons Beauty Rest Black, Serta Eye Comfort, and Avocado. Take up to 5 years to pay with no money down for qualified buyers, and we have no credit check payment plans. Yes, that includes massage chairs too. Bring in any locally advertised price on a mattress we carry, we'll beat it. We'll beat it. In New Hartford, on Commercial Drive next to Pet Supplies Plus, in Oneida, in the Glenwood Plaza by the movie theaters. Go to mattressexpressny.com. Call 1-800-NEW-BEDS, but hurry. The Labor Day sale is on at Mattress Express, but just days left.
Imagine this. You're at your daughter's soccer game. She makes a shot and suddenly goes down in a lot of pain. It's her ankle. As a parent, you know the faster she gets to the right people, the sooner she'll be on her way to recovery. And treating this pain is an emergency. The orthopedic care she needs is just minutes away at Community Memorial. If it's real pain, head to our new emergency room in Hamilton. We have the shortest wait times in the area. We can get pain under control and then quickly get you into one of our world-class specialists at Community Memorial Center for Orthopedics. Whether it's a new injury or long-term joint pain, we also have orthopedic clinics on weekdays in Hamilton, Wednesdays in New Hartford, and Thursdays in Cazenovia with walk-ins welcome. Imagine a healthcare system that's dedicated to getting you to some of the best orthopedic specialists in the area in the shortest time possible. That's Community Memorial Center for Orthopedics. Visit orthoemergency.com.
Did you hear? The best performing assets of 2025 aren't stocks. They are precious metals. This year, gold and silver have risen a staggering 29%. And some experts believe the gold and silver bull market has just begun. Central banks are buying gold to protect against the falling dollar. And silver, it's powering the future. With skyrocketing demand for solar, EVs, and AI, Silver is the new oil. So how high could gold and silver soar? Find out. Call Lear Capital, the precious metals leader, at 800-957-GOLD. Get your free wealth protection kit and see how gold and silver could help your retirement dreams come true. With over $3 billion in trusted transactions, thousands of 5-star reviews, Lear is your trusted source. Call now, 800-957-GOLD. That's 800-957-GOLD. 800-957-4653.
Hi, I'm Phil DiGiorgio. Planning for the future isn't always easy, but protecting what you've worked so hard for is important. The DiGiorgio Law Firm invites you to a free estate planning and asset protection workshop to be held on September 9th, 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. at the DiGiorgio Law Firm offices at 250 Genesee Street, Utica, New York. Seats are limited, so call 315-732-3155 to reserve your spot. At this free workshop, you'll learn how to use trusts to preserve your home and assets from the high costs of long-term care, how to safeguard inheritances for loved ones receiving public benefits, and discover techniques to help you access Medicaid benefits for home care or nursing home costs without spending your assets down to zero. Take control of your legacy. You can't take it with you, but you can decide where it goes. Call the DiGiorgio Law Firm today at 315-732-3155 to RSVP for the workshop or to schedule your own consultation. Again, that's 315-732-3155. The DiGiorgio Law Firm. Start protecting your hard-earned assets now.
Before there was social media, streaming, and even color television, there was radio. Remember the golden days when you had to tune in to hear what happened to Hopalong Cassidy, or perhaps the Green Hornet? What if you could relive those days again? Hi, I'm Greg Bell, the host of When Radio Was, a show that's dedicated to the very best of radio's golden age. From classic performances by Jack Benny to tales of terror on Lights Out. It's all here on When Radio Was, starting every Sunday at 11 p.m., only on WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Which classic broadcast will you hear next?
Celebrating 100 years. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
Well, I will say that portions of the program as we head into our 100th year. December 5, Mark Butler.
I've got it marked on my calendar.
The 5th of December. Do you remember?
Yes, yes.
You were there.
I was there.
River Hills Properties, one of the fine sponsors that is partnering with us here on the radio, and they just really, Bill and Robin Manjo just love upstate New York. It is an area that is has awesome housing, awesome opportunities, but we need more housing. There's a huge demand, and with new people coming to the area with the upcoming Chobani plant and other opportunities, housing is now more important than ever, which means the house you're in right now, maybe you've been in for years and years, could be worth a lot more than it used to be. If you're interested in finding out more, you can contact Bill or Robin Mancho at River Hills Properties. They have offices in Barneveld, Little Falls, and Copenhagen, the home of Mark Butler, Newport, New York.
Yay!
Coming soon to Rome. And if on your mind is the upcoming winter, we really don't know what kind of winter we're going to get. And maybe you want to avoid it all and get down that snowbird road. Maybe Florida is an option. They have a full staff ready to take care of people on the Gulf Coast of Florida. Sarasota, Naples, Marco Island. It's River Hills Properties. Nobody sells homes like River Hills. Call 315-896-1009. Also, one of our 100-year sponsors, Ricky Z, and the fine people over at Steve Pani Mazda. They have transformed successful race-proven technology into your new Mazda. Mazda, used to be a big racing vehicle, and it's now been transformed into an amazing brand out on the road today. Save on a new Mazda lease. Enjoy 2.9% APR financing. New 2025 Mazda CX-30s, CX-5s, 1.9% APR financing on new 2025 Mazda CX-50s, CX-70s, and CX-90s. You can see anybody at the dealership for details, including our man, Ricky Z. As he says, let's make your deal on a new Mazda, where it's always easy to do business. Steve Pani Mazda, Commercial Drive in Yorkville. On the line right now is Dr. Kent Hall. Doc, good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good. So a lot of talk about the, obviously with RFK Jr. on the hot seat being really questioned aggressively by both Democrats and Republicans. There's been a lot of talk about those who no longer have faith in the immunization program, and in particular the COVID vaccine. But you do still have a lot of people who want to get it, and now it's becoming more complicated. In fact, if you're under 65, you may not be able to get it covered by your insurance now.
Right. So this is the problem, is that it isn't that people can't get it, it's that people are going to have to pay out of pocket for it instead of having the insurance cover it. And that's because the insurance companies in general follow what the CDC recommendations are, and with the change in those, then the insurance companies are saying, well, then, we're only going to cover it for those conditions that the CDC warrants, which is for people older than 65, anybody younger than 65, you need to have a condition that says that you're at increased risk for severe COVID.
Yeah.
I would strongly encourage people who want it to go to their primary care doctor, because they may have some conditions that seem relatively minor to them, but actually put them into that higher category. And so, going to your doctor so that you can have that documented, I think is going to be very important.
I think that so you can go to your physician and you can say, I have these conditions. Can you write me a note that says that I would qualify for the COVID shot? Interesting. And Mark has something, and before I get to him, I want to read a comment or paraphrase one from online on the YouTube channel where someone said, "Stop calling it a vaccine. It's not a vaccine. It's a shot, like the flu shot." Can you talk about the difference between that and does it fall under the category of immunization or vaccine, or what is the difference between all of that?
Yeah, these are just synonyms for the same thing. They all do basically the same thing. They inject a piece of foreign protein into your body that your immune system recognizes as foreign, and basically it's an invader, and so it mounts its defense mechanisms, which are the antibodies, and it stimulates antibody production. Now that antibody production falls off over a period of time, but what happens is that the machinery for making it more has now been developed and is sensitized. So when it is exposed again, it is ready to immediately jump into action to make the antibodies to fight it off when you are or may be exposed to the real disease, in this case, the real virus. But that's true. That is the same thing that is true with measles and with mumps and with chickenpox. They're all the same immune response is that. So.
It's funny, people forget. This is Mike. The vaccine was developed under the first Trump administration, labeled Project Warp Speed.
Correct.
Mark Butler, what do you have?
Well, I just, good morning, doctor. Just had a quick question. Are there any documented ill health effects from getting a COVID shot or vaccination? I mean, if you get the shot just to be sure you have some protection against COVID, is there any reason not to?
Yeah, so there's a spectrum of side effects. So the majority of them are called local effects. So that's you get an injection or you get the shot, you get the vaccine. I don't know what to call it anymore now.
Yeah.
But you get the vaccine, and within a fairly short period of time, hours or so, you'll develop some soreness and redness in the area. That's local inflammation. That's basically your body saying, hey, wait, there's something here that isn't supposed to be here. And it's mounting a response. And the initial response is local. Usually within a day or so, you get more of a systemic response, and that's because your body's immune system is starting to recognize it, and so you might get some diffuse body aches, body aches not just in the arm that you got the shot in, but across your body. You might have a low-grade fever, which is just an inflammatory response, so it's the same kind of thing. Those are the common ones. There are uncommon ones that happen. So there are people. So the big one that everybody is mostly concerned about is called myocarditis. That's an inflammation of the heart. That happens in a very, very small percentage of people. And when you look at it over a population, and by very, very small, I mean somewhere around 0.1 to 0.2% or less. And it seems to be slightly higher in certain populations. Probably the one that people talk about the most is young men. They tend to get it more than anybody else. But again, we're still talking about 0.1% of the population that get the vaccine. So yes, there are. And if you get the vaccine and you start to have symptoms, whether it's if you have the symptoms that I talked about initially, the best thing is to take some ibuprofen or some acetaminophen and some basically that'll take care of those relatively minor symptoms. If you're having more significant symptoms, if you're having maybe some shortness of breath or some chest discomfort, then it's important to get checked out by your doctor.
Does that answer your question?
Yes. Thank you.
I wanted to ask you about. We got about 5 minutes, so to get through a lot of stuff here this week. One of the things in question is, should it be mandated in school that kids get the shots, a series of immunizations? Should it be mandated, or should it be the choice? And it looks like Florida is trying to go down the road, and even President Trump has said he's not sure that that's a good idea. Your thoughts on the mandate versus just educating people of the importance of getting these shots? What do you? Currently in New York, there is a mandate. There is a religious exemption. There are medical exemptions as well, but otherwise, it's basically mandated that you get the shots.
Yeah, so I would say that the mandates, especially for school-age children, are probably very important, and I'll explain my rationale for that. First of all, the diseases that we're trying to protect the kids against are polio, measles, mumps, German measles, chickenpox. Those are the primary ones. When you get into college and stuff, then many colleges, I think most colleges now, require that you get the vaccine that will protect you against meningitis. There's number one, you're protecting the individual. These are highly, highly effective vaccines with minimal side effects. Again, usually more like what we just talked about, the minor ones for COVID. But also, if for those kids that can't get it, because of medical issues or they're allergic to it or something like that, then the entity that we call herd immunity comes into effect, and those kids, if a high percentage of the kids around them have been vaccinated and therefore won't be getting the disease, then that decreases the likelihood that the kids who can't get the vaccine would be exposed to it. So that's the kind of thing that happened in East Texas earlier this year, where there was an outbreak of measles because there was a population of kids that didn't get it, and so they dropped below herd immunity. Now, herd immunity, the level of immunization that you need to reach herd immunity, is dependent on how transmissible the entity, in this case the virus, is. And unfortunately, measles is one of the most infectious agents known to man. So that's why you need such a high percentage of people that are immune to it.
This is a great comment, because this is from Easy in Ilion, Dr. Easy. I think maybe he's a doctor, but I could be wrong. Could be. Easy, are you a doctor? This is what he says. I'm sorry, doctor, but that is incorrect. A flu shot and a COVID shot does not eliminate the disease. Now, by the way, you never said that. And he's saying that we say that as well. We've never said that. I first of all, I'm just repeating what we're told. I have no medical background whatsoever. But he says the disease is a vaccine like polio and measles. Those eliminate the disease. It's not I don't know what, I think it's a misspelled word there. They're very different. The PR people and the media, that's us, including you now, Mark, I'm telling you, are trying to force COVID vaccine statements as it eliminates COVID. It does nothing more than a flu shot. And I got to tell you, I think in this case, Doc, Easy is incorrect. You tell me.
So if I believe I've tried to be very very specific and as accurate as possible in my statements regarding what the COVID vaccines do. And Easy is correct. They have not been. They were not developed to basically keep people from getting infected. What they were developed for, and what the testing was done, was to keep people from getting severe disease to the point where they would need to be hospitalized or would die.
But correct me if I'm wrong. I'm almost running out of time. Correct me if I'm wrong. We're talking about with COVID, with the flu, but also with measles and polio, you're talking about herd immunity. So someone who has the polio vaccine could still catch polio. Someone who has the measles vaccine could still catch measles. It is not a 100% prevention of actually catching it, but it does, through herd immunity, reach a point where we can accomplish what we had accomplished with polio, where it basically wipes it off the face of the earth. Am I wrong? Because that's how I've understood it.
So polio and measles and things like that, they actually do protect the individual from becoming infected to the point where they are transmitting it. So you're right, but there's some nuances here.
But if you come where there's that community in the Hudson Valley that they're Jewish Orthodox, they don't believe in the vaccine. There was a big outbreak of the measles. So how does that happen? If people around them have had the measles shot, they should be prevented from getting the measles then.
So they should be. However, there's going to be some people that are going to be coming into that community, whether they're coming from other countries or wherever, that may be bringing it in. But you're right. It doesn't. And again, simply because somebody has gotten, let's say, the measles vaccine, simply because somebody has gotten the measles vaccine doesn't mean that they are going to develop 100% immunity against measles. Right. Everybody's immune system is slightly different, and so some people may have a slight less of an immune reaction or an immune response, and so they may still have some degree or less degree of protection than other people whose immune systems just go hog wild and keep them from getting the disease.
Okay, so the COVID and flu shot work differently than the measles and polio.
So the testing for it was different, and the expected results were different. They don't work different inside the body,
right? But
their outcomes. The testing outcomes were actually different for them. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, the other thing about herd immunity, especially as it relates to COVID, is herd immunity makes the assumption that there isn't a lot of what's called antigenic shift, where the antigens on the entity, in this case the virus, don't change rapidly. And as we know, both with the flu and with COVID, they do. That's why they have to re-engineer them every year.
Okay, we've hit a lot. And there's one more thing I wanted to get, and that is it's expected that the CDC is going to come out and say that one of the causes of autism or the increase in autism is pregnant women using Tylenol. Now, there is nothing, to my knowledge, that says there is a risk for pregnant women taking Tylenol. Are they about to change that? And what are your thoughts? Is Tylenol safe to take if you're a pregnant mother?
So this is a long discussion, and I'll be glad to give you some kind of a Cliff Notes version. But I would recommend that maybe we talk about this again next week.
Okay, all right, we'll do that.
So there is some association based on some observational studies of kids having an increased risk of autism and neurodevelopmental disorders if their mothers took Tylenol during pregnancy. I will say there's a large study that was done in Sweden that was reported last year that actually said that was not true. And that's why I want to be able to talk about it so that people can understand the science.
Okay, we'll continue this conversation next week. Let's not forget, though, there was a company out there, the cigarette industry, that said cigarettes don't cause cancer. So you would think that if you're Tylenol, you're lobbying very much against this. So trying to be able to dig through what's true, what's not true, what's exaggerated, what isn't exaggerated, is not easy, especially these days. Not easy. Okay, we covered a lot of ground here, Doc.
Yeah, we have. And again, I would say, related to Tylenol between now and next week and going forward, if a woman is pregnant and they should be talking to their doctor, to their OBGYN or to their family medicine doctor, whoever's following them during their pregnancy, about the risks and the benefits of any medication, whether it's an over-the-counter medication like Tylenol or something else.
I think it was on Kill Me the other day. They had a physician who was being questioned about this, who was supportive of RFK Jr. with some things, but felt that Tylenol was safe for pregnant women to take. We'll get into more of that, though, next week. Interesting. A lot of interesting and confusing things out there, and contradictions. Make it very difficult for us, unfortunately.
Yes, they do, and that's exactly right. And it is unfortunate that we can't have, good scientific discussions, and instead we're getting into more, this is what I think discussions.
Right. Okay, we'll do this again next week, Doc. We appreciate it. Have a great week, and enjoy the rest of the day.
Sounds good, everybody. Have a great day, and please be safe.
All right. You do the same. We'll do news, Davey, and then Hobuckus Free Money question of the day. And in studio, Elizabeth Snyder Fortino is running for Supreme Court in the 5th Judicial District. I believe they're taking the top 3 or 4. We'll talk to her coming up in a second here at WIBX.
If you're drowning in IRS debt and can't afford to pay, then you need to take advantage of special IRS tax programs that are available and free yourself from IRS collection efforts once and for all. Due to the financial hardship consumers are facing throughout the country, the Internal Revenue Service has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Take down this number or store it in your cell phone, but call the Community Tax Helpline at 800-281-0578. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back, or even if you have years of unfiled tax returns, there's no need to fear anymore. But you have to call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-281-0578 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-281-0578 for your free consultation and to see if you qualify. 800-281-0578.
Attention investors with a 401k, IRA, or retirement account. The dollar has lost over 25% of its value in the past 5 years, and it's only going to get worse. Are you prepared for what's about to happen next? We are Advantage Gold, the #1 customer-rated gold IRA company in America, and we are helping Americans prepare for the great de-dollarization by diversifying their portfolios with physical precious metals. We've partnered with former chief economist of the IMF, Kenneth Rogoff, to give away his latest book called Our Dollar, Your Problem, a must-read for investors. Call 800-741-GOLD, and we'll rush a free copy of Our Dollar, Your Problem to your doorstep and include our special gold IRA investing kit, valued at $49. The dollar is losing value fast. Call 800-741-GOLD now to get your free copy of Our Dollar, Your Problem and our free gold IRA investing kit. Supplies are limited. Consult your tax and financial professional before investing. Call 800-741-4653. That's 800-741-GOLD.
Here's the latest from the WIBX newsroom. I'm Doug Callan. Federal prosecutors holding a news conference today following an immigration and customs enforcement raid in Cayuga County. Law enforcement took dozens of people into custody at the Nutrition Bar Confectioners facility in Cato last Thursday. Federal officials are planning to warn businesses today about the risk of criminal investigation if they employ people who aren't authorized to work in the United States. Former President Joe Biden has selected the spot for the presidential library, and it is not going to be Syracuse. Biden, who graduated from Syracuse University, their College of Law in 1968, had considered setting up his library in the city of Syracuse. Instead, the library is being constructed in Delaware. Utica police are investigating an incident at Valley View Golf Course where significant damage was caused to the course by what police feel was caused by two teenagers on an ATV and dirt bike. A photo of the two, one on a four-wheeler and one on a dirt bike, was released by Utica police. Contact UPD or Crime Stoppers with tips and information. Police say the incident occurred on Saturday. New York State Police in Oneida are asking for the public's help in identifying the owner of the chainsaw that had been left behind, apparently by mistake. According to troopers, the police in Oneida are attempting to locate the owner of a Husqvarna 445E2 chainsaw that was found last week on Route 5 in the town of Lenox. Full story is available on our website. A female corrections officer at Marcy Correctional Facility hospitalized after being attacked by an inmate, according to New York State Police. Union officials said the officer was sitting at a desk inside one of the dorms on Thursday of last week when a 31-year-old inmate came up behind her and grabbed her by the shoulder. Authorities said the inmate forced the officer over backwards from the chair and landed on top of her on the floor. Once on the floor, authorities said the inmate headbutted the woman in the forehead, licked her nose, and attempted to sexually grope her. Authorities said the officer fought back. The corrections officer was treated at Wynn Hospital. The inmate remains unnamed, faces several charges. And that's the latest. I'm Doug Callan for WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Absolutely beautiful weather expected now over the next several days. Fall-like, some spots are cooler valley locations, and into the Adirondacks this morning, frosted advisories. Sunshine later, 75 for us today. Tonight, mainly clear in the 40s again. In the Adirondacks, we may sneak into the 30s. Sun back 77 tomorrow, Thursday and Friday, mostly sunny. Get outside and enjoy it, mid-upper 70s. I'm meteorologist Ray Stidgick at the Weather Channel on WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
All right, it's 45 and sunny. And do you want me to turn his mic on? Davey wants to forfeit the pick. Caller number what there, Stefan?
Caller 5.
Fifth caller. It's $185 on the line from the Hobica Law Firm. Caller 5 right now. Totally a doable question. I feel like we're going to give away the $185 today. Caller 5 right now at 315-736-0186.
Hi, I'm Lisa, owner of Fit Body Boot Camp in Clinton and Whitesboro. I couldn't be prouder of our amazing members. Take a listen.
My name is Kim Shackler, and I'm from Deansboro, New York. What brought me to Clinton Fit Body Boot Camp was there was an email that went out asking people to put in for a free membership. I was very, very excited. As soon as I walked through those doors, those coaches were just absolutely amazing. Greeted you right away, explained what you were going to be doing, how everything was going to be run there. I have loved it ever since, and I go 6 days a week. I have met so many wonderful, beautiful people that have become my very closest friends. Ages all the way into their 20s and all the way up into their 60s and 70s. Age doesn't matter. Those bonds that you make there at this gym is absolutely beautiful, and the coaches are all there for you.
If you're waiting for a sign, this is it. The time is now to live your best life at Fit Body Boot Camp.
Drowning in IRS debt? If you can't afford to pay your IRS debt due to economic hardship, you can now be free of IRS collection efforts by taking advantage of a special IRS tax hardship program. This program allows Americans who owe the IRS to resolve their delinquent tax debt once and for all. In some cases, maybe even reducing what you owe significantly. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Simply dial 800-244-7640. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back or have years of unfiled tax returns, help is standing by. Just call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-244-7640 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-244-7640 to see if you qualify. That's 800-244-7640.
Hey, it is back to school time, which means fall and snow aren't far behind. Before winter sneaks up, take one big thing off your list. New windows from New York Sash. Right now, during the September window sale, you'll get 50% off window installation. Whether you need a single replacement or a whole house full, New York Sash has the perfect fit for you. And here's the best part. You don't have to imagine what they'll look like. At New York Sash's showroom on Oriskany Boulevard in Whitesboro, you can actually see the styles all on display. Walk through and compare beautiful bay and bow windows that add curb appeal, the traditional double hung windows, every option custom made and built to be energy efficient, handling our winters here in upstate New York. So while the kids are hitting the books, you can check windows off your to-do list by shopping in the showroom or visiting NewYorkSash.com to schedule a free estimate. That's the September window sale, 50% off installation at New York Sash, 349 Oriskany Boulevard, Whitesboro. New York Sash, let their family take care of your family.
This is Keeler in the Morning. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
All right, it is Hobeika's free money question of the day, and it comes from the Hobeika Law Firm. Joseph and Andrew Hobeika, 315-724-1600, for all of your needs, your legal needs. Stephen, you chose caller number 5 for what reason?
In honor of David Wright and Davey Johnson, who both wore number 5 for the Mets.
Davey Johnson, of course, sadly passing away over the weekend. Yep. Okay, let's do John in East Herkimer. Ready to take a shot at Hobeika's free money question of the day. John, good morning. How you doing?
Sir, not even cold.
Not even. I didn't catch that whole thing. What did you say?
Say, not even cold up here.
Not even cold. It's beautiful. It's great sleeping weather, isn't it?
Yeah.
Gotta love it. All right, so we're going to throw this at you today. It's a topical question. You'll have 7 seconds to answer, and if you get it in, it's worth $185. Are you ready to go?
Yes, sir.
All right, today is National Teddy Bear Day. The bear got its name from Teddy Roosevelt, who went on a hunting trip in what year? Ready, go.
1912.
Was it 1912? You're really close. You're you're exactly a decade off. It was 1902. Hunting trip. I believe a newspaper reporter like Mark Butler, you were around back then.
Yes, I covered that.
You covered it. And all of a sudden, the teddy bear became the stuffed bear became the teddy bear.
I like to think I had a role in that.
All right, we're going to give you the all-in-one food and fun card. It's a $25 gift card. You know the deal, John. It's good at Aquavino and Babes, Taylor and the Cook, Cookies, Q and Kramer, The Odd, Nexus, and the list goes on. You stand by, and Davey's going to hook you up. All right, John. Thanks so much. The teddy bear, 1902 hunting trip.
I was going to say 1898.
You would have been pretty close. You would have been close. In studio right now is, do I call you Betsy?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
So Elizabeth Snyder Fortino, Betsy Fortino, is in studio, and she's running for state Supreme Court in the 5th Judicial District. I believe there are like 8 or 9 people running, I think, right?
Correct. There's 8 people running.
8 of them running, and we take the top 4 in the election. Nice and tight and really close on that mic. Tell us about you, Betsy.
Okay. So I am from a family of attorneys. Mark, you probably knew my dad, Don Snyder, from Herkimer County.
Oh, yes.
And so now, obviously, he's deceased. But the reason I really got into this, the practice of law, is due to my parents. And I'm currently the director of Mental Hygiene Legal Service. That's a part of the appellate division in the court system. And so I oversee 65 attorneys from Herkimer County all the way over to Erie County.
All right.
And today I'm going to Rochester next because we're celebrating our 60th anniversary.
Wow.
So, yeah.
So the 5th district, judicial district, is large, and it basically covers similar to what you're currently doing.
Yes. I've been in all of the courthouses in all the 6 counties. So you're looking at Jefferson, Lewis, Oswego, Onondaga, Herkimer, and Oneida.
So if somebody comes before you in Supreme Court, it's a dispute, sometimes really, really personal, especially when it comes to divorce.
Right.
Why should people select you? Why should they?
Sure.
I believe we'll be filling the bubble. Why should we fill your bubble?
You know, I've literally done thousands of cases in Supreme Court. My entire practice for the last 22 years while at the Mental Hygiene Legal Service and then at Legal Aid side before that, making it like 24 years of practicing law, has been working like that in Supreme Court, practicing and having challenging clients and also having clients that need to be heard, need empathy. And so I've worked with the individuals with mental illness and all the psychiatric units. We go into all the group homes that have the developmentally disabled, done a lot of guardianships for these individuals as well. And then also, just hearing part of your news, we go into the prison facilities. So I've worked with all the incarcerated folks at Marcy, at Midstate, and a lot of my clients are at Central New York Psychiatric Center. So I'm working with schizophrenics, seriously individuals that need serious treatment. But I've able to balance that and been able to communicate like what is best interest in their case and talking about their facts in a logical way. And I think moreover, my ability as a teacher, I think it really serves me tenfold because I have to be very organized, efficient, but also when I'm teaching my students at the college level now, but I'm a certified teacher as well for secondary ed, you got to be able to relay the message in a way that they can understand and really grasp that, okay, yes, she's heard me. And so I feel like that skill set, I use it every day in practicing law, managing my staff. I've had to make a lot of tough decisions as a boss. And also working with my clients. So I think the one skill that I really think I have, not only temperament and patience, which is key, integrity, because my father and mother were very wonderful people, but I think really having that ability to work with others and to make the tough decisions. I've never shied away. I've had to handle the first cases for Article 10, which are the sex offender cases under the mental hygiene law, and I was a young attorney at the time. But even I had to appear quite often before Judge Termy, and he often said, these were tough facts I had put forth to them, but I often was successful.
Are we, as a society, as a community, and not just in New York but around the country, are we dropping the ball on mental health?
It's a good question. I think we're getting there. I think Governor Hochul has put a lot of money in recently, and she has expanded the mental hygiene law for the folks that are homeless, and that's another thing I think I bring to the table is having done these cases. I see what the Office of Mental Health is trying to do is to really connect people up before it becomes an issue as opposed to after. So I think that is very helpful. However, we don't want to overwhelm the court system or the hospitals. So I think my ability and having done so many of these cases, I could really analyze those cases because we literally have 10 judges that do mental hygiene proceedings in the 5th Judicial District because there's such a high volume.
And it does seem that, we're dealing with a big homeless problem as really across the state, across the country.
Yes.
And a lot of it, there was a time when we just put people in asylums.
Right.
And we don't do that anymore. I almost
Right.
feel like in some cases we're having to backtrack because we just walked away from them at one point in the last
I
20
hear you.
or 30 years.
I think with the expansion of what we call Kendra's Law and assisted outpatient treatment, that was a part of the recent legislation that's been modified. Monroe County, that I cover as well, they do a tremendous amount of those, and I think it's good because it connects people up to the community with supports. And so we go into the prisons, and a lot of the clients, upon their release of their sentence, they're going to be placed on, we call it assisted outpatient treatment order. So I go and see them, and it does help get them back to the city and get preferential housing and whatnot, so they can kind of make that transition back into the community with the proper supports. So.
I'm going to give Mr. Butler a chance to ask a question in a second, but I want to. So Snyder's, that's your maiden name,
correct?
From Herkimer County.
Yes.
I had a teacher who was Mr. Snyder.
Oh, really?
Mike Snyder, no
relation. No relation. No, I grew up in West Winfield.
And West Winfield.
Yes,
okay.
Yes. And then I went to school in Utica. I went to Notre Dame. Utica College.
Got it.
Yeah.
And then Snyder's Fuel also is big down in the valley, isn't it?
That Newport.
And Newport.
Snyder
Okay.
Fuel.
Okay.
Yeah.
No relation either. But
okay. All right.
my roots came from the Capital District. Mom and Dad, were from Troy and Cohoes, and then they moved to West Winfield and started their law practice.
Okay.
And then we're the ones that are that are the four of us, and we're the largest family to ever be admitted to the U.S. Supreme Court. That was my dad's dream in 2006, and we made that happen.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. So special.
Mr. Butler, do you have?
Well, not so much a question, but and I think Bill kind of addressed himself, but I think your association with mental health issues would be a very valuable asset in your position as a justice.
100%. Like I said, whether it be guardianships or whatever we do, just that background.
That is the debate going on in the legal field now. I mean, what's mental health and what's just being, breaking the law.
Exactly.
And being able to make that distinction.
Yes.
And it's very fun because I recently had a conversation with a family member about this and brought up mental health. Well, I think it was a mental health issue. Well, I'm kind of sick of hearing about mental health. They're using that as an excuse. There is a difference between somebody who is on up for charges of murder or whatever or rape, and they're using a defense that is a mental defense versus people who are legitimately mentally ill and maybe off their meds or what have you and get themselves in trouble. Right. Talk about that just a little bit.
Sure. We've had a huge increase, and we call that criminal procedure law 730s when they come, and that's whether or not they're competent to stand trial.
Right.
And so there has been a huge increase in that in our community.
So someone who is mentally ill could be deemed competent to stand trial.
Correct. Yes.
However, if you are, there was a recent case of the school teacher who was murdered, and I believe that person has used that defense, and I think the outcome was he was not capable of defending himself.
There's a period of time where they try to restore them,
Yeah.
and that's part of what we do. We work with those individuals. But yes, you have forced medication proceedings that we do as well. So if the hospital is seeking to treat them over their objection, that's part of what we do. But yes, we all have a lot of, we call those 330-20s when, under the criminal procedure law, when they go to a civil hospital because they're not able to stand for trial, and they use that as a defense. So we work with those individuals, and they've had a lot of challenging paths, but it is good to see that some individuals can eventually get out on an order of conditions and still get the supports in the community. And we work with the DA's office and whatnot in doing those cases. But some have been successful, and that is encouraging when you can see them rehabilitate, go to MVCC, take classes. I see many of my clients, in the community, and it brings me pride to know that they've kind of, are compliant with medications and are doing well.
Yeah.
So.
All right. I think Mark's right. Having that expertise now more than ever seems to be very important.
Yes.
Elizabeth Snyder Fortino, Betsy.
Yes.
Thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, and best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
And of course, Election Day is November 2nd.
Yes.
Okay.
And then early voting the 25th.
And early voting is just
October 25th.
around the corner. All right, a quick break, and we'll come right back here. A bunch to get to next hour. Stand by. It's Tuesday morning at WIBX.
Adirondack Home Furniture is having their annual Labor Day sale event through September 17th. With 15% off the lowest price on every item in the store, you'll be able to transform your home with quality, durable, American-made furniture. Looking for the perfect piece to complete your rustic look? Adirondack Home Furniture in Utica carries a wide selection of beds, tables, and more. Is traditional or contemporary more your style? They have that too, and on sale. Or is a better night's sleep what you need? Then check out their selection of Restonic mattresses or their private label flippable mattress line. Stop into Adirondack Home Furniture today and take part in their annual Labor Day sale. But hurry, the sale ends September 17th. Adirondack Home Furniture, family owned and operated for over 49 years. Located in Riverside Center, Utica. Give them a call at 315-738-7817 or visit AdirondackHomeFurniture.com.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX Utica, Rome. W295EI. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Celebrating 100 years.
It's called Operation Midway Blitz. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. A new illegal immigration crackdown launched in Illinois that the Department of Homeland Security says is in honor of Katie Abraham, who was killed in January in a drunk driving crash blamed on a driver here in the U.S. illegally. Her father, Joe, supports the operation targeting criminal aliens, telling Fox,
I love the terms I keep hearing. Families are separated. Children are being taken or parents are being taken. My daughter was taken. We are separated. I will never see her again.
Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson, a Democrat, says he's concerned about potential militarized immigration enforcement without due process, accusing ICE of violating detainees' human rights. Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass is calling dangerous a Supreme Court ruling that allows the Trump administration to resume illegal immigration raids in Southern California, lifting a block by a judge who'd called the raids unconstitutional, targeting people in part based on race. U.S. Attorney Bill Asaley tells Fox that's not true.
They use what's called reasonable suspicion, and that includes work sites. It includes other types of activities that they see, like if people are fleeing when they see an ICE agent or they see a Border Patrol agent. It includes all kinds of factors.
Israel has ordered an evacuation for all of Gaza City, where about 1 million Palestinians live, as it escalates the war against Hamas, taking out high-rise buildings that Israel says are housing Hamas infrastructure and surveillance. At least 21 people are dead in another Russian attack in the Ukraine war, 21 others injured.
Ukraine's President Vladimir Zelensky announced the strike, showing video of bodies scattered on the ground, killed by a glide bomb fitted with pop-out wings and satellite navigation. He says the bomb hit older civilians waiting to collect pension payments in the village of Yorova in eastern Ukraine, the Donetsk region, where Ukraine says Russia has 100,000 troops ready for a new offensive.
That's Fox's Chris Foster. Ryan Ruth will soon return to a federal court in Florida, acting as his own lawyer, as jury selection resumes to put Ruth on trial, charged in the second Trump assassination attempt last year. America's listening to Fox News.
Your home equity could vanish almost overnight, stolen by scammers who forge a deed and transfer it out of your name. The FBI calls it house stealing, and the worst part is you may not know it until it's too late. Find out if you're already a victim now at HomeTitleLock.com. Use promo code RADIO for a 30-day free trial, a title scan, and access to a title specialist, a $250 value. Go to HomeTitleLock.com now. Promo code RADIO.
You ever wonder why Verizon charges twice as much as Pure Talk for the same basic service? Think it might have something to do with the fact that Verizon spends $12 billion a year on advertising and promotion? That's billion with a B? Yeah. Pure Talk doesn't spend that kind of money on commercials. That's why they can offer unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data on a blazing fast 5G network for just $25 a month. Save an additional 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say the words micro. That's pound 250, micro.
The House Oversight Committee has the first batch of files it subpoenaed from Jeffrey Epstein's family in the investigation into his sex trafficking operation involving underage girls, and if he had high-profile, well-known clients.
It includes a birthday book that Ghislaine Maxwell assembled for Epstein's 50th birthday. Also in the documents, a 2007 non-prosecution agreement between the feds and Epstein. Now, the birthday book purports to include a letter from President Trump. Committee Democrats say that President Trump writes about, quote, a wonderful secret between he and Epstein. The White House says the president did not draw the picture nor sign it.
Fox's Chad Pergram at the Capitol. Democrats may get one more seat in the House as voters in Virginia go to the polls this morning to fill one of the 4 vacancies in Congress.
Democrat and Fairfax County Supervisor James Walkinshaw is the heavy favorite to win Tuesday's special election in Virginia to replace Congressman Jerry Connolly, who passed away earlier this year to cancer. Republican Stuart Whitson is trying to pull off the upset and flip the blue seat. Republicans currently have a 219 to 212 seat majority. Walkinshaw was Connolly's chief of staff for 11 years. If he wins, Republicans will only be able to lose 2 members on any vote along party lines, as opposed to 3. On Capitol Hill, Ryan Schmelz, Fox News.
On Wall Street, stock futures have been rising for the Dow and the NASDAQ, which closed at a record high yesterday. On Monday Night Football, a comeback.
Pass is caught, spinning grab by Aaron Jones. And somehow, some way, the Minnesota Vikings are on top.
Down 17-6 going into the final quarter in Chicago. J.J. McCarthy threw 2 touchdown passes and ran for another score, leading the Vikings to a 27-24 win on ESPN over the Bears to end the first week of the NFL season. I'm Dave Anthony. This is Fox News.
Here's the latest from the WIBX newsroom. I'm Doug Callan. Federal prosecutors holding a news conference today following an immigration and customs enforcement raid in Cayuga County. Law enforcement took dozens of people into custody at the Nutrition Bar Confectioners facility in Cato last Thursday. Federal officials are planning to warn businesses today about the risk of criminal investigation if they employ people who aren't authorized to work in the United States. Former President Joe Biden has selected the spot for the presidential library, and it is not going to be Syracuse. Biden, who graduated from Syracuse University, their College of Law in 1968, had considered setting up his library in the city of Syracuse. Instead, the library is being constructed in Delaware. Utica police are investigating an incident at Valley View Golf Course where significant damage was caused to the course by what police feel was caused by 2 teenagers on an ATV and dirt bike. A photo of the 2, one on a 4-wheeler and one on a dirt bike, was released by Utica police. Contact UPD or Crime Stoppers with tips and information. Police say the incident occurred on Saturday. New York State Police in Oneida are asking for the public's help in identifying the owner of the chainsaw that had been left behind, apparently by mistake. According to troopers, the police in Oneida are attempting to locate the owner of a Husqvarna 445E2 chainsaw that was found last week on Route 5 in the town of Lenox. Full story is available on our website. A female corrections officer at Marcy Correctional Facility hospitalized after being attacked by an inmate, according to New York State Police. Union officials said the officer was sitting at a desk inside one of the dorms on Thursday of last week when a 31-year-old inmate came up behind her and grabbed her by the shoulder. Authorities said the inmate forced the officer over backwards from the chair and landed on top of her on the floor. Once on the floor, authorities said the inmate headbutted the woman in the forehead, licked her nose, and attempted to sexually grope her. Authorities said the officer fought back. The corrections officer was treated at Wynn Hospital. The inmate remains unnamed, faces several charges. The Boonville Police Department reported a disturbance at the historic Hulbert House apartments on Main Street back on August 30th. Police say a guest allegedly damaged property belonging to another guest and the owner, with damage totaling over $250. The tenant was arrested. 27-year-old Terry L. Fendler of Boonville was charged with 1 count of criminal mischief, a felony, received an appearance ticket for a future court date in the town of Boonville. Utica police say a stolen vehicle was used at an early morning business break-in. Monday, UPD is asking for the public's help in identifying the culprit. Police say on Monday they found a broken window and other evidence of a break-in on South Street at about 6:30 a.m. The officers approached the suspicious vehicle, parked a short distance away, and police say the driver pulled out and sped away at a high speed. Later at around 10 a.m., police said they took a report of a stolen vehicle from the 800 block of John Street that matched the vehicle that sped off from the scene. Anyone with information can call UPD, or anonymous tips can be made at MohawkValleyCrimeStoppers.com. And one of the most popular comedians on the planet is bringing his current tour to Syracuse. Ventriloquist Jeff Dunham is set to take the stage at the Upstate Medical Arena at the On Center War Memorial on Wednesday, January 14th. Seats for the performance go on sale next week. In sports, another blockbuster fourth quarter in primetime NFL. The Minnesota Vikings scored 3 fourth-quarter touchdowns to come from behind to beat the Chicago Bears 27-24. The game was heard live here on WIBX. A Buffalo Bills fan is facing a ban from the league after hitting a Baltimore Ravens player during Sunday Night Football. ESPN reports the fan has been banned indefinitely from the Bills and NFL stadiums. The Mets shut out by the Phillies 1-0 in their series opener from Philadelphia. Nolan McLean suffered the loss after allowing 1 run on 7 hits and 3 walks. New York is third in the NL wild card and will continue its 4-game set tonight. The Yankees are back in action tonight. New York is hosting Detroit. And that's the latest. I'm Doug Callan for WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Absolutely beautiful weather expected now over the next several days. Fall-like, some spots are cooler valley locations, and into the Adirondacks this morning, frost advisories. Sunshine later, 75 for us today. Tonight, mainly clear in the 40s again. In the Adirondacks, we may sneak into the 30s. Sun back 77 tomorrow, Thursday and Friday, mostly sunny. Get outside and enjoy it, mid-upper 70s. I'm meteorologist Ray Stidgick at the Weather Channel on WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Well, we have some sunshine out there and still on the chilly side, 46 currently at WIBX. All right, I do want to bring in the police chief in Boonville on what happened at the Halbert House. Mark Butler, meet Chief Dave Olney. You guys know each other.
How do you do, Chief?
Chief,
hey,
good,
Mark. How are you? Hey,
good morning. Thanks for coming on.
Mayor. And I want to make it clear we have not met in a professional capacity, Chief.
Okay. And you want to keep it that way.
That's right.
Yeah.
The day is young.
The day is young. Okay, so this is kind of an interesting story that involved a tenant and the owner and an arrest. What can you tell us about the Halbert House apartment story?
I can't get into great detail, but so the Halbert House was redone a couple of years ago, and there's been a new owner that purchased it within the last year or so. There's a very nice restaurant downstairs, and then in the top couple of floors are some really nice apartments. And over the weekend, there was a disturbance during the night at one of the apartments. A tenant called us the next day, an uninvolved tenant, and we went and investigated. And throughout the course of our investigation, we found that the actual tenant in the apartment in question was not at home at the time, but the subject that was arrested was there alone, allegedly damaged some appliances and some personal property of the tenant. And the landlord wished to pursue criminal charges for the damage there, which was upwards of $800.
Yeah, okay. All right. So are we talking about, we were just talking about the issue of mental health. Are we talking about a mental health issue or something else?
I don't believe it was a mental health issue.
Okay.
The gentleman that is the suspect, he came in voluntarily, and we talked to him yesterday and issued his appearance ticket. I think it was a momentary thing, emotional, whatever, but it was, without getting into too much detail, I don't think that in this case it was a mental health issue.
Okay.
Just speculating, but.
Was this a relationship issue?
We're now posing questions and looking for clues.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
I don't want to comment. I don't want to comment too much detail on a case that's pending in court, but it wasn't a random. It wasn't a random type of thing.
All right. I will say the Halbert House, I'm glad it continues to exist, and I mean, think about it. It existed as a hotel and a place where people stayed, and some very famous people over the years. It is historic and legendary.
Absolutely. We used to go there when it was still the Hulbert House, and they had the restaurant downstairs. Dana and I have been there a few times, and both being into history, Dana much more than me, it was really, really interesting to look around in there and see the logbook, and the guest book had been signed over the years. I can't remember who's been through.
There was a president that I believe stayed there at some point, maybe before he was, may have been vice president. I forget the story, but there have been some real historic figures who've stayed there.
I'm 100% certain Dana's listening right now. She's yelling at the radio.
Yes, she knows.
There this year.
All right.
So actually, and right now, so the Woodland Brewery was there. They just closed up a few months ago, and now there's the HH Tap Room, which is I haven't had the occasion to be there yet, but I've heard it's a really, really nice place. So
you know what they need is a band to perform there some night. If you know of any band that might be available.
I know they do karaoke there. So
they do. All right.
That'd be good for Mark. I've heard him in the Christmas show.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Paul Buckley with a question here this morning. We're speaking with Dave Only. He's the chief of police in Boonville. Paul asks, could it have been the ghosts in the Hulbert House? There is some legend there of the supernatural world there, this historic place.
Well, knowing Paul Buckley as I do, it could have been the ghost of Paul Buckley.
It could have been. It could have been. One of the rare ghosts that actually came around before death.
Yeah.
And just haunts everybody. All right. Interesting stuff. So
it was Ulysses S. Grant, and I just got the text from Dana. Ulysses S. Grant. And I just also want to mention, listening to you earlier, it was really nice to hear you giving some proper reverence to 9/11. A very close connection there. And
yeah, I mean, you were there, right?
Yep.
Just we were there. Maybe it was a month afterwards. I just wanted to see the devastation there, and it's amazing. And it's been 24 years. It's really incredible.
In some ways it seems like yesterday, and some other ways it seems like 100 years ago. But I led Troop D down there on the 11th, and ended ultimately spending 6 weeks down there. We were right at Ground Zero and all other posts throughout the city throughout those 6 weeks, and I hate to see the generational forgetting that we seem to get.
Yeah.
When we were having that discussion earlier, a thought came through my mind, and we ran out of time. But as horrific as that event was, I heard a radio broadcast about the number of illnesses and deaths that have occurred subsequently. People who were there working and got various diseases. In fact, we had a gentleman from the Utica Fire Department,
Chief Brooks.
Chief Brooks,
and he had brought in some people also from the Syracuse area, a whole group of people who were there and have had some really terrible health results.
Well, they had some figures on this story I was hearing, and it's incredible the number of people who suffered in the ensuing.
I mean, you can't imagine what they were breathing in. I mean, you were there, Dave. I mean, just the air quality was toxic.
Yeah, I spent a couple of nights on the Brooklyn Bridge directly downwind of the breeze. I'm in the medical monitoring program for 9/11, and if you go on ODMP, OfficerDownMemorialPage.org, and you put in 9/11 cancer, it's in the hundreds of just police officers, and that's not counting all the firefighters and the construction workers and other people that were down there.
Civilians.
To this day, I mean, there were thousands that sadly perished on that day, and then since then there's been scores more than that.
Yeah, as a result.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, it's 2 days away. Hard to believe.
Yep. Can I mention something else? That's 4 days away.
Yeah.
The Kurt B. Wyman motorcycle ride. I was in last week talking about it. That's Saturday, the 13th. Registration 8 to 9:30. Little ceremony. Then we take off at 10 on a beautiful ride, and then the fall festival at the Deputy Kurt Wyman Park from noon till 5. Except for the food trucks, everything else is free. There's going to be a lot of stuff for the families. hayrides, bouncy houses, law enforcement, fire, Walmart display. We're giving away bicycles. It's going to be a great day.
Listen, I was also told that last weekend at the Mediterranean Festival that the only thing wasn't quite as good as a baklava, but the Dusty Puppies were really quite amazing. That's what what I'm hearing. You get
funny. That was one of our most fun gigs of the year. We were a little nervous how we were going to fit in a Mediterranean and a church festival because it's two things that Dusty Puppies aren't. We had the best time. There were people that stayed the whole time, and in fact, we will be back next year, maybe even 2 days there.
Stefan has given you the thumbs up on the performance. So
Stefan was dancing like a fool out front.
Yeah.
He was doing
All right. Good stuff, Dave. Thank you so much, Chief. By the way, good.
Yes.
Have a wonderful day, and thanks for the time.
Good talking with you, Chief.
Thank you, guys. Have a great day.
Take care.
Dave Olney, Chief of Police at Boonville. If you think Boonville's a quiet place, there's stuff going on, and there's a new sheriff in town. Well, he's a chief of police.
Yeah.
That is
we got
chief
the
of
same
police.
sheriff.
Same sheriff.
Yes.
We do have the same sheriff. Sheriff Mayfield, of course. All right, quick break, and we'll come back at WIBX.
Quiet down, here she comes. Surprise! Your accountant just emailed to say your quarterly taxes are way higher than you were expecting.
At Progressive, we know small business owners don't usually like surprises because they cost you money. But a good surprise that could save you money? Getting discounts with a commercial auto quote from Progressive.
Also, your favorite employee is leaving. They're going to pursue their dream of being a veterinarian.
Surprise yourself. See if you can save in as little as 8 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
You're great at protecting your data, but lots of places could still expose you to identity theft.
I thought it was safe.
If that happens, LifeLock gives you a U.S.-based restoration agent who will stick by your side from start to finish. Phone calls, filing documentation, preparing insurance claims, your agent handles it all. In fact, we're so confident restoration is guaranteed or your money back. Isn't it nice to have someone like that on your side? Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Hey, Central New York, this is Will Kane of The Will Kane Show, and you can now hear my show every weekday at WIBX. I do things a little differently when I'm behind the microphone because I turn it over to the listeners to learn and really dig into the issues that impact everyday Americans. The Will Kane Show lets you keep ahead of the headlines and understand what's really going on in the world with in-depth discussions from leading experts and the brightest minds. From politics to sports, nothing is off topic. Listen to The Will Kane Show weekdays at 6, only on WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Celebrating 100 years.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
Portions of the program brought to you by Brank Construction. You're seeing your foundation crumble and crack and disintegrate. You don't want to let that go. Having that fixed before wintertime is incredibly important. Reach out to Brank today. They know masonry work, old stone walls, block walls. They have you covered. And they are a perfect choice if you want to replace those old, rusty basement windows. They can give you a brand new thermal window that will keep things warmer in your basement, which works for the whole house. It's Brank Construction, 315-894-3481. You can call them today. All right, on the line right now is Brandy Shade. She is with the Hamilton Society, and the topic this morning is bad bosses. Bad bosses. Bosses who have temper tantrums, shout, berate, bully. Terrible.
Yeah.
Brandy, good morning. Thanks for coming on.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
So you use a couple of examples here. One has one of our guests here in studio very bothered. Steve Jobs, Gordon Ramsay, and Donald Trump, including Donald Trump in the list.
Him for everything, but
yeah.
Cancer.
All right. So what are your what do you do if you're an employee and your boss is an a-hole?
Yeah, I actually worked for somebody who was pretty bad at one point, and I really had to build an army around me of people, an army of support and, a group of people that understood me well, that could stand up for me, that could talk to him. Because if you have somebody that, especially that's your superior, that is really coming down hard on you in an illogical way, then it's really almost impossible to deal with them by yourself. But rather, if you can get a group of people to approach that person and communicate to that person and help that person see that their behavior is not socially acceptable, then you can actually make quite a bit of headway.
I would imagine it's not good for productivity around the workplace.
No, actually, at the time that I had that bad boss, I probably spent 6 months, having to strategically maneuver and navigate that person. And so, no, I remember thinking in my head, all right, if you're going to pay me to deal with this guy, then that's what you're paying me to do right now. But I'm not going to lose my job over it. So I'm going to, figure it out and navigate it and make sure that, I keep my income for the next 6 months just simply navigating this
just
guy.
to be able to navigate, just to be able to keep the money coming in. Common complaints, according to the survey, 51% unreasonable expectations, 49% micromanaging, and 48% credit stealing. We're not talking about your income credit, but it's like you do a report, you do all the work, and the boss says he did it. Yeah. Credit stealing.
Well, if the boss is being shown that that's how he or she is being promoted, then that's how they're going to behave in the workplace.
Yeah.
So it really all starts from the top. If at the top of the food chain, the C-suite is saying, look, you need to promote others in order to have your own career lifted up, then the leaders within the company will promote others.
Yeah.
But if that's not what they're showing, then that's not how the leaders will behave in the company.
Brandy, if I could, and if you don't mind being the boss of the show here, I just want to tell you, this is not how you conduct an interview. I don't know what you're thinking.
I think she's doing fine.
I don't think she is. Well, listen, I do have to tell you that in my old days of being, I've been doing this for a long time.
Why do you look at me
and
when you
I'm
say
just saying,
old?
I think I was pretty intense, and my wife says she was my producer. This goes back to 1995.
Wow.
1997. She says I was a very bad boss. Highly demanding, called her at all hours, but I think I was really just like a junior high student. I think I was just flirting, kind of flirting a little bit. That's what I think of. And ultimately, we're married today, so somehow it worked out. And now she's the boss. I don't know if you realize that, but that does happen. I do think there is a lot of pressure on people where they feel they have to be holding everybody accountable to everything. And I do think that just being human to people, you probably can get a lot more accomplished, right?
Yeah, absolutely. If you go into work every single day and you look at the people that are doing all this wonderful work for you, and you say, hey, why are you here? Why do you come to this particular place and work here with us every single day?
Yeah.
And you can get to the root of that, and then you can help them accomplish their goals and what they want to get out of life, or who they want to be, or how they want to perform. You're going to have a loyal subject for a long time. People really, really love people who bring out the best in them.
Before you go, can you tell us about the Hamilton Society?
I am so sorry, but I'm not a part of the Hamilton Society.
Okay.
So I
That
know
is
nothing
so
about
wild.
the Hamilton Society, but I'll say their name 3 times if you'd like.
No, I ask every guest that comes on, can you tell me about the Hamilton Society? It's listed here in your bio. That's so funny.
Yeah, that is so funny. Sorry.
Where can people find you if they're looking for your stuff?
Yeah, if they want to talk about something like this, they can find me on my website at strengthologyleadershipconsulting.com.
Okay.
Or they can also find me on LinkedIn under my name. Brandy is spelled with a Y, and Shade is spelled SCHADE.
Okay, cool. I don't know how Fox got the Hamilton Society out of that, but
That's okay. That's okay.
Very funny.
They're getting a lot of publicity this morning.
They are. They are. All right. Well, listen, you have a great day. Thank you for the time.
You too. Thank you, sir.
All right. Brandy Shade. Yeah, like my wife says, I was just a terrible boss. Very demanding. Well, not good. Today, Davey is my boss. And being the executive producer, sometimes he yells at me. He rolls his eyes at me. He's mad if I miss a commercial break. I mean, he's a tough boss, that Davey.
I'm not your boss. You're the boss. It's your show.
Well,
it's
I'm
the
just saying,
Keeler in the Morning Show. It's your name. You're the boss. I'm just part of the show.
Well, you are. You're absolutely a major part of the
But I'm
show.
not the boss, though.
We
right.
talked earlier about mental health issues, and I think that sums up the
You think
issue.
I'm having
the
an
problem.
episode?
Yes. Calm
You may
down.
be right.
Calm down.
You may be right. All right, let me take a break, and we'll do an update on the news. And I also have I want to get Brian Luska is with the union representing corrections officers. And listen, it's been a rough year. There's no doubt about it. But I do believe that what has happened in Albany, and I love your take on this, the fact that we've made it so difficult, where almost the pendulum seems to have swung in the other direction, to the point where
To the left.
to the point maybe to the left, to the point where there's no consequence for people that are in jail.
Yes.
It's placed these corrections officers oftentimes in a very dangerous position. And I know there've been some terrible stories that have come out, but I think that Albany has played a big role in this, in creating this dissension in a system that seemed to work, whether you like it or not. I mean, it's a jail.
Yeah.
It seemed to work, and I do think it's created a great deal of unrest and allowed sometimes these inmates to feel emboldened to the point where they can get away with whatever they want. And in the case of the female corrections officer who was attacked and allegedly sexually assaulted just sitting at her desk, a pretty terrible thing that happened there.
Occasionally, Bill, you show signs of good sense, but yeah, I think a lot of the
Shocking,
problems are
isn't it?
coming
Shocking.
out of
Yeah.
Albany.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the nature of New York State. We're dominated by New York City and the bigger cities.
Well, and
and
instead of going to the corrections officers, going to the union, sitting down with people who are on the ground, we make decisions based on their own thoughts on what the system is and isn't. And the reality is New York City it's a completely different world than
right.
up here. So we'll speak with Brian Luska coming up in a little bit on what happened to this corrections officer. We'll do news first, though, at WIBX.
BME Company Business Machines and Equipment has been delivering office solutions for businesses in upstate New York for over 30 years. Their success comes from finding the right document management strategies and software solutions for streamlining workflows. Simply put, BME provides fast, reliable service at the best value to keep your business running smoothly. Through BME's strategic partnership with Hummel's Office Plus, they distribute supplies for just about every machine in your office at a great price. BME welcomes the opportunity to serve your business, selling, leasing, and service in Canon and Kyocera devices, as well as FP mailing solutions. An important part of BME's culture is supporting the communities they're fortunate to work in, and BME recognizes that support is one reason for their success. The future of business in BME's area is encouraging, and the company is grateful to be a part of that growth. Call BME Company at 315-574-8200 or visit BMEcompany.com. BME Company Office Solutions. Made simple.
Hi, I'm Lisa, owner of Fit Body Boot Camp in Clinton and Whitesboro. I couldn't be prouder of our amazing members. Take a listen.
My name is Savannah Malerba, and I'm from Westmoreland, New York. Results-wise, from my last set of measurements, I've lost about 15 pounds. I've lost about 17 inches between legs, waist, chest, all of the parts. I've also gained a lot of energy in my daily life. I'm a school teacher. I teach K-6 math intervention full-time, and I go from the beginning of my day at 5:15 in the morning all the way to 3 o'clock at the last bell and still have enough to keep going and jumping around my classroom like crazy all the time. So this has helped increase my mental endurance in every single way. I feel like I handle a lot of challenges in the gym and outside of the gym, and I feel like I have the people around me and also the mental capacity to support all of those things at the same time. And that has developed a lot more because of Clinton Fit Body.
If you're waiting for a sign, this is it. The time is now to live your best life at Fit Body Bootcamp.
Your home equity could vanish almost overnight, stolen by scammers who forge a deed and transfer it out of your name. The FBI calls it house stealing, and the worst part is you may not know it until it's too late. Find out if you're already a victim now at HomeTitleLock.com. Use promo code RADIO for a 30-day free trial, a title scan, and access to a title specialist, a $250 value. Go to HomeTitleLock.com now. Promo code RADIO.
Hey, I want to tell you, coming up next week, the 19th through the 21st, is the Fall RV Show, and it happens, Mark Butler, at the New York State Fairgrounds. And it's next weekend, September 19th through the 21st. And I, Davey, have a family 4-pack of tickets to give away. We'll take the third caller that would like them, 315-736-0186. Your chance to win right now from WIBX.
Here's the latest from the WIBX newsroom. I'm Doug Callan. Federal prosecutors holding a news conference today following an immigration and customs enforcement raid in Cayuga County. Law enforcement took dozens of people into custody at the Nutrition Bar Confectioners facility in Cato last Thursday. Federal officials are planning to warn businesses today about the risk of criminal investigation if they employ people who aren't authorized to work in the United States. Former President Joe Biden has selected the spot for the presidential library, and it is not going to be Syracuse. Biden, who graduated from Syracuse University, their College of Law in 1968, had considered setting up his library in the city of Syracuse. Instead, the library is being constructed in Delaware. Utica police are investigating an incident at Valley View Golf Course where significant damage was caused to the course by what police feel was caused by two teenagers on an ATV and dirt bike. A photo of the two, one on a four-wheeler and one on a dirt bike, was released by Utica police. Contact UPD or Crime Stoppers with tips and information. Police say the incident occurred on Saturday. New York State Police in Oneida are asking for the public's help in identifying the owner of the chainsaw that had been left behind, apparently by mistake. According to troopers, the police in Oneida are attempting to locate the owner of a Husqvarna 44.5E2 chainsaw that was found last week on Route 5 in the town of Lenox. Full story is available on our website. A female corrections officer at Marcy Correctional Facility hospitalized after being attacked by an inmate, according to New York State Police. Union officials said the officer was sitting at a desk inside one of the dorms on Thursday of last week when a 31-year-old inmate came up behind her and grabbed her by the shoulder. Authorities said the inmate forced the officer over backwards from the chair and landed on top of her on the floor. Once on the floor, authorities said the inmate headbutted the woman in the forehead, licked her nose, and attempted to sexually grope her. Authorities said the officer fought back. The corrections officer was treated at Wynn Hospital. The inmate remains unnamed, faces several charges. And that's the latest. I'm Doug Callan for WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Absolutely beautiful weather expected now over the next several days. Fall-like, some spots are cooler valley locations, and into the Adirondacks this morning, frosted advisories. Sunshine later, 75 for us today. Tonight, mainly clear in the 40s again. In the Adirondacks, we may sneak into the 30s. Sun back 77 tomorrow, Thursday and Friday, mostly sunny. Get outside and enjoy it, mid-upper 70s. I'm meteorologist Ray Stidgick at the Weather Channel on WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Currently, we're at 48 degrees and sunny. A nice, cool start to the day. Things will warm up as the week goes on. We'll get up into, as Ray said, into the mid-50s, mid-70s, I should say. This weekend doesn't look as warm as they originally had said, probably low to mid-70s.
I thought I saw some rain.
Rain by Monday now. Maybe that's a possibility. But I got to tell you, this stretch of weather looks really pretty nice. Hope you're, as Ray says, getting out and enjoying it. Okay, lead-free Mohawk Valley. It's a lead-safe Utica program, and it really is designed to help people who are possibly tenants or even landlords, property owners. There's $30,000 per unit in HUD lead hazard reduction funding. Lead poisoning, just by having lead in the home, whether it's the friction from opening and closing a door or a window, can get into the air, and that causes lead poisoning in children oftentimes. Ages 1 to 2 need to be tested in New York State. It can harm a child's brain, nervous system, speech, hearing, learning, and behavior. If you're in a home that was built before 1978, chances are there's lead, and chances are there could be a problem. There is help out there, as we said. Up to $30,000 per unit in HUD lead hazard reduction funding. Whether you're a homeowner or a renter or a landlord, specifically really for the property owner and the landlord, there's money to help. Call today at 315-724-4197 or go to leadsafeutica.com for details. Coming up, we'll speak with Brian, who's with the Union for NYSCOBA, the Union for Corrections Officers, and get the details on what happened to that female corrections officer at Marcy. Coming up at WIBX.
Mattress Express's Labor Day sale is on. New York State's largest selection of mattresses. Save up to $1,350. Take up to 5 years to pay with no money down for qualified buyers, and we have no credit check payment plans. Go to mattressexpressny.com.
What would you do if you had a little bit more money to do it?
I'd go to law school.
I'd open a bakery.
I'd travel to visit my grandparents I haven't seen in 10 years. We all have things we want to do in life, and there are people who want to help you do them. So how do we best ask for that help? GoFundMe. GoFundMe is the #1 fundraising platform. 200 million people have used GoFundMe to support people doing things like furthering their education, starting a small business, or bringing people together in support of a cause. No matter what your goals are, GoFundMe helps you take an important step toward them. GoFundMe is free to set up and manage, easy to use, and designed to help you reach your goals.
The community was so supportive in helping me finally open my bakery. Now, every day I wake up and get to do what I love. And it all started with GoFundMe.
What would you do if you had the money to do it? Get started today with GoFundMe. Start your GoFundMe today at GoFundMe.com/news. That's GoFundMe.com/news. GoFundMe.com/NEWS. This is a commercial message brought to you by GoFundMe with actors voicing experiences inspired by our users.
Hi, I'm Phil DiGiorgio. Planning for the future isn't always easy, but protecting what you've worked so hard for is important. The DiGiorgio Law Firm invites you to a free estate planning and asset protection workshop to be held on September 9th, 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. at the DiGiorgio Law Firm offices at 250H Genesee Street, Utica, New York. Seats are limited, so call 315-732-3155 to reserve your spot. At this free workshop, you'll learn how to use trusts to preserve your home and assets from the high costs of long-term care, how to safeguard inheritances for loved ones receiving public benefits, and discover techniques to help you access Medicaid benefits for home care or nursing home costs without spending your assets down to zero. Take control of your legacy. You can't take it with you, but you can decide where it goes. Call the DiGiorgio Law Firm today at 315-732-3155 to RSVP for the workshop or to schedule your own consultation. Again, that's 315-732-3155. The DiGiorgio Law Firm. Start protecting your hard-earned assets now.
Together, we can do more. On September 19th, our community will hold Mohawk Valley Gives, an online day of giving to benefit area nonprofits. Your Mohawk Valley Gives donation will help hundreds of nonprofit organizations meet our community's greatest needs, and every dollar counts. Join us on September 19th at givemv.org, and let's show everybody that Mohawk Valley Gives. Powered by the Community Foundation of Herkimer and Oneida Counties and Up Mobility Foundation. MV Gives is proudly sponsored by Staffworks and M&T Bank.
Keeler in the Morning invites you to connect with us through telephonic communication at 315-736-0186. or use the Call Us button on the WIBX 950 app. For additional contact methodologies, please refer to WIBX950.com.
WIBX.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
Portions of the program brought to you by the Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills, and they've been reminding patients. They announced here on the radio they're currently looking for a new provider at the Falcon Clinic. They've had a large influx in new patients over the past several months due to recent retirements, departures, and just that people are looking for a different, an osteopathic approach. So they're extremely busy. So Dr. Zielinski says because at this time we're respectfully asking any prospective new patients to reach back out in 6 months. They're looking for a new provider. Once they have one, it'll be announced here, and they'll be taking on new patients very, very soon. But they have had an enormous influx in patients over the last year. Thanking you and looking forward to you being a patient of the Falcon Clinic, Dr. Brian Zielinski and Dr. Shemaleski at the Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills. All right, I'm sure you've been hearing this story that occurred at the Marcy Correctional Facility. Brian Luska is the NYSCOBA representative and is on the line right now. Brian, good morning. Thanks so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me, Bill.
So tell us what happened here. This is pretty bad, and the corrections officer, I believe, was just sitting at her desk.
Yes, yep. She was sitting at her desk. She felt the tug on her shoulder, looked back, saw an inmate. He hopped on top of her. He wound up headbutting her, licking her face, grabbing her by her arms, groping her. She kicked him off him, then pulled her pin to alert a response. They came in, cuffed the inmate, brought him off the dorm.
Wow.
This is a direct result, again, of zero accountability and poor legislation coming out of Albany, that these individuals in prison have zero accountability, zero deterrent to follow rules. So talking with this officer, this individual is a frequent flyer getting high. Well, apparently this night he was extra high, puking afterwards, and there's no deterrent. There's nothing you can do to these guys. So, you know, what our members are dealing with is it's like the Walking Dead in these prisons. Yeah. There's so many high inmates, and they pretty much do a concussion protocol to determine who's the highest, right? And then they take them off the unit. They'll put them in a medical unit or somewhere's the detox for half an hour. Once they're a little better and a little coherent, they come back to the house.
Yeah. Has there been any improvement from? They had said they had made some improvements on the rules and the legislation. Has there been any improvement at all?
No. Legislation has not changed. They put a pause on the programming for Hall. That was it. Nothing changed that triggers. If you do this, you can go to the SHU for it. None of that has changed. They did assemble a HALT committee, and the folks on that committee, the officers and everyone did a really good job at really looking at the law and, you know, picking it apart to try to make things a little better.
Yeah.
I know they presented it to some advocacy groups, and they 100% shot it down. They pretty much said we would rather see general population shut down so you can run programs in the RRUs where these individuals go. So they're going to be getting more programming time than someone that follows the rules.
Wow.
That was their answer.
Yeah. This is Mayor Mark Butler from Newport, former assemblyman.
Yes, good morning. I have a question. When we hear stories like this, how is that affecting recruitment for corrections officers? Do you have any clue on that? I'm sure it doesn't help, but is there any statistical measurement?
No, I mean, no. The department keeps saying that recruitment's up, right? They say it's up 160%. You know, that means they just initially filled out an interest form or an application, right?
Okay.
When I believe recruitment's working is when my members aren't working 120 hours a paycheck and they're getting their vacation time back. That's when I'll say recruitment's working. But no, this is not going to help recruitment, not one bit, until they start changing how they operate in Albany. Because I tell you what, if this happened in Albany, like at Capitol Hill,
right,
I bet you they'd do something real fast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, this is the, and I also feel that this has, you know, there have been some really terrible stories that have come out of the last year, and of course now we're dealing with trials and murder cases in some cases, and I do feel that the decisions that have come from Albany have created the atmosphere that has ultimately led to this. I want your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately you're a product of your environment, right?
Right.
So when you're put in an environment that is constant violence, like you become desensitized to it, you almost normalize it. So when let's go back 8 years ago, right?
Yeah.
You'd have a fight here and there in one of the jails. Even if going back when I first got to Mohawk in 2008, if two inmates squared off on a walkway, didn't even throw punches, that was a big deal. Fast forward till today, they're stabbing, cutting, severely beating each other. So everybody sees this, right? So everybody's desensitized to this violence. And as the violence goes up, it goes up on both sides.
Yeah. Do you what will happen to this inmate who attacked the corrections officer?
He's going to have a hearing.
Yeah.
For attacking the correction officer in this manner. He will go to the SHU and then to the RRU. But if we had real deterrence, he wouldn't have been able to do this, because when he was caught under the influence, he would have went to SHU prior to home.
Right. Yeah. There were punishments prior to all of this. There were punishments that the inmates wanted to avoid.
100%.
Yeah. And that worked as a deterrent.
Yeah. And even say a lot of what these guys are doing, we spoke on this many times, it's paper that they're soaking in something, right? Either they'll spray roach spray or wasp spray on a piece of paper and roll that up and smoke it. So say you catch an inmate with paper on him, and you got to test it. So you got to cut him loose, and when it comes back in 3 months, you still can't do nothing to him.
Wow. Yeah. All right. Well, obviously, and I'm assuming the corrections officer's going to be okay. I know she was treated at Wynn Hospital.
Yes. Yeah. And just one thing I want to make crystal clear. I know that the message has been out there that assaults are down on staff.
Yeah.
That ain't because of any groundbreaking policy or the inmates are doing the right thing. We're on a strike. They were on strike for 22 days, which there was not any movement going on.
Right.
Now, due to our staffing situation, there's limited movement. So the opportunity to do those things aren't there right now. So that's the only reason why that number's gone down.
Yeah. Is there still a strike that is going on right now, or is this from before?
This is from before.
From before, yeah. So
obviously, that affects the numbers.
Sure, the numbers were down. And then the other thing that I would remind people is after that strike, an agreement came to an agreement, but you're really no further ahead than you were before the strike, right?
Some things should have been. We were pounding the pavement on all these issues.
Yep.
The legislators didn't want to listen to us. Our contact for the governor's office was Marco Soler. He was the Deputy Secretary of Public Safety.
Mm-hmm.
He's no longer there. He's fired. But I don't think he was relaying the information to the governor.
Right.
I think he had us on ice,
Yeah.
So all them things, our members should have never had to put their jobs on the line for a safer work environment. They didn't listen to us. They didn't listen to them because everything agreed in that the stipulations there. They could have done that way before this even happened or got to this point.
Wow. All right. Well, that's a dangerous job, and we wish you guys the best out there.
We appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Thanks so much. Brian, have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Brian Luska with Nice Scobo. Quick break, and we'll wrap it up with Mark Butler here. This is Mike. You want to add?
I'm sorry?
This is Mike in New Hartford. Are you ready? Bill, you should check out the video everyone is sharing on Facebook of a homeless guy on the Parkway with a pocket full of money. And I'll talk about that and that video coming right up at WIBX.
Are your windows old and tired? Hard to put up and down? Builder's grade windows just aren't made to last very long. Patriot Home Solutions is a different kind of window company. No games or gimmicks, no long drawn-out sales presentations, just high-quality, custom-fit windows at reasonable prices made right here in New York. And right now, you can get up to $2,000 off new windows from Patriot and NYSERDA, plus 0% interest for 18 months. Most homeowners qualify for the savings, and income is not one of the requirements. So write this number down, 315-401-0440. That's 401-0440. Patriot Home Solutions will tell you right over the phone if you qualify. Don't miss your chance to save up to $2,000 on new windows. Funds are limited, so call before they run out. Learn more at callpatriothomesolutions.com. That's callpatriothomesolutions.com.
BME Company Business Machines and Equipment has been delivering office solutions for businesses in upstate New York for over 30 years. Their success comes from finding the right document management strategies and software solutions for streamlining workflows. Simply put, BME provides fast, reliable service at the best value to keep your business running smoothly. Through BME's strategic partnership with Hummel's Office Plus, they distribute supplies for just about every machine in your office at a great price. BME welcomes the opportunity to serve your business, selling, leasing, and servicing Canon and Kyocera devices, as well as FP mailing solutions. An important part of BME's culture is supporting the communities they're fortunate to work in, and BME recognizes that support is one reason for their success. The future of business in BME's area is encouraging, and the company is grateful to be a part of that growth. Call BME Company at 315-574-8200 or visit BMEcompany.com. BME Company Office Solutions. Made simple.
WIBX.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
Mark Butler had pain, back, shoulder, leg, walking pain.
All of it.
Ended up at the Good Feet store. Where do you have your inserts in today?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, you do.
I wear them every day.
If you're looking for help with pain, it may be the way you're walking. Get a free, no obligation, personalized fitting at the Good Feet store in New Hartford. 3-step system includes strengtheners, maintainers, and relaxers. 3 categories of arch supports with varying levels of strengthening muscles, tendons, and ligaments to help you walk better, to help the pain go away. And there's also there's basically low, medium, and high, right. And then there's Butler. That's mega high, off the charts.
I just wish they'd come up with a good back store. That's what I'm looking for.
The good back store.
Yeah.
The good back store. I like it. The Good Feet store is here to help. You can call them at 315-999-3910 or Commercial Drive in New Hartford. No appointment is needed. All right, Mike in New Hartford says you should check out the video everybody's sharing on Facebook of the homeless guy on the Parkway with a pocket full of money. I'm trying to read what his sign says, and I don't give to any of these at all. And should I feel guilty for that?
I don't know.
I feel like the money's going right to drugs. It's going right into something really, really bad. So this is a guy that somebody stopped, and it looks like they gave him money, and he has a wad of cash. I can't tell if it could be a wad of dollar bills or they're 20s, or my guess is they're dollar bills. So what does he add there, like $30, $40? I mean, I don't know. All I know is I don't give to any of them. You have a comment on this at all?
No. I was telling you, we had a homeless gentleman in Newport. And of course, everybody called the mayor, said, do something about it. So I went down and chatted with him. We have a pavilion down by the creek, and he was living there, and he had his bedroll, his spread out on a picnic table, and I said, why of all places on earth are you here?
Right.
And he said he'd actually left from New York City. He'd walked all the way there and wound up in Newport. He was on his way to Canada. Said he'd been on an Olympic boxing team, and it was quite a story. But
Sugar
anyway.
Ray, was his name Sugar Ray?
Yeah.
But
he said, "Well, I need to get to Canada. How do I get there from here?" And I said, "Just head north."
Head north. I mean, if you had a compass, or just go north.
But I did give him a ride up.
You did?
To Barneville.
Wow.
Put him on Route 12, and he's marching up the road to Canada.
I'm looking at his picture here, and again, this is like one of the guys that sits out there in a wheelchair, probably saying, and maybe he is a veteran. You just don't know. It's when the sad part of this is when you are in that situation where you're addicted to drugs, you will tell someone anything to get what you want. And I mean, how do you say no to the Olympic boxing team? Right? I mean,
did.
That
was my donation to the Olympic Committee.
Yeah. Well, there you go. That video, you'll see it. It's all you have to do is homeless man, wad of money, Utica Parkway. If you search that, it pops right up on your feed. Stefan, I hate to do this, but I am out of time. We'll talk again. Maybe you call in. We have to go. Mark Butler, thank you. Stefan, thank you. News is next.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX Utica, Rome. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, celebrating 100 years.
Ryan Ruth is back in federal court. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, where he's not just the defendant, but also his own lawyer in the case of the second Trump assassination attempt last year. It's the second day of jury selection.
Federal Judge Eileen Cannon made it clear he can't make any sudden movements or roam around the courtroom during questioning.
Fox's Dana Marie McNichol outside the court in Fort Pierce, Florida. She reports on day one.
21 jurors had been dismissed. Another 120 potential jurors returned to the court today. Ruth objected to just one